Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024, where we are vibing into summer here in the north, or we're working our way into a solstice, depending on where you are in the world. But I have to tell you right out of the gate, looking at the vibration and the energy for June, the number one thing that came to my mind is that the first half of the month, I think, goes fast, where it's like, woof, it's a month where not only do we have Jupiter having moved into the energy of Gemini, so we do have some expansion of information, and the area of your chart that is ruled and governed by Gemini may be moving very, very quickly. Now, there are some stumbling blocks you're going to have to work with, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but also it's a month where Mercury is nowhere near its retrograde, so we are in the clear. Some things are going to be happening. Information is on, movement is on, and that may actually be a month that we kind of have been waiting for, because when we go past, June and we get into July, you guys, and we're moving towards the end of the year, into the calendar year, we're going to start coming into some more retrograde time and these kinds of things. So with Mercury, personal planet, not going retrograde, Gemini season on us, I think that June actually moves quite quickly in the beginning half. And then we get to the second half where we come to that solstice energy, we move the sun into Cancer, and even then, Cancer is a cardinal energy, so it's still a starting energy. There's this sense of, okay, I've come from this mutable quality where I had to think about things, maybe make adjustments, but now, in the second half of the month, I'm ready to be started and move some things forward. So June, I think, has a lot to offer in terms of movement, and I look forward to breaking that all down for you. Okay, two big things for you to know about where you can access some astrology this month. Number one, we've got a free summit going on with my friend Susan Gerber. Now, I have done this with her a couple years, so it is a financially free summit that starts June 10th. If you want more astro, 21 astrology people are coming together. It's a big, beautiful summit. We're talking about all kinds of topics. I'm talking about Venus this year. It's the first time I'm really doing that. So click in the description box down below. Again, it is a financially free summit that you can take a part of if you just want more astro in your world. And the second big thing is working one-on-one with me. My packages that are 2 60-minute sessions and 2 30-minute sessions are on sale until we get to the solstice. So if you are looking for some support, astrological guidance, you need some help seeing which is the best direction to go. If you're at this place of transition in your life and you kind of feel like you're standing there by yourself, not really clear, pull in. Pull up, as my daughter says. Let's get some time one-on-one together. And in your 4 packages, we walk through your life and your chart, what's going on in your astrology, and we make some really cool decisions. We see your life in not just the 2D. We take that thing and look at it like we're looking through a kaleidoscope and see every best option that is available for you. And I stand right there holding the flashlight for you, walking with you so that you can grow as you need to. And I'm just there to act as a beautiful, loving support with you. So if that is something that you need in your life, my sessions are on sale. My packages are on sale. So you want to take advantage of that. All of that's in the description box down below as well. Okay, friends, let's talk about June. Now, like I said, first and foremost, we're considering that we're coming into the month. The sun's been traveling in Gemini. Now we have got this beautiful energy of Jupiter in Gemini. So it is busy. It is busy. There's a fair amount of pleasure. There's a fair amount of success, sharing information, getting things done, bringing information to you, an expansion of new ideas that has been going on. But one of the things I would like to bring your attention to is that while we've got all of this delicious forward motion that is available to us, Jupiter is considered to be in fall in the energy of Gemini, in detriment in the energy of Gemini. So first things first, if you haven't checked out my Jupiter and Gemini video, I'll link it here or I'll put it at the end of the video so that you can really dig into that and check it out. And you want to look in your own chart and see what house does Jupiter in Gemini rule for you? Where's your Gemini placement? And if you don't know how to do that, in the description box, I've got a video to help you find that as well. But because Jupiter is considered to be in detriment, this is this symbol for us that, okay, Jupiter is really just getting going on its transit. So yes, there's this expansion of information, this new ideas. Maybe you're signing up for a course, you're going to learn another language, you're making these connections. It's all available for you. But it's like, obstacle bump. Oh, hold on. It's like a little bit bumpy. So you might have to redo things, do things more than once, or you rush towards something and you're like, oh, wait, hold on. I just need to take a couple steps back. Let me just fix things now. Typically, with Jupiter energy, even if you have to redo something, you got to double back, you got to just be cool and try and go with the flow a little bit better. It's typically pretty friendly. So that is something that I just want you to keep in mind, that if you feel like there's a bump in the road or you had to redo something or, whatever, you are on track. That is very much so common when a planet is considered to be in detriment. It's not as comfortable in this energy over here. But the ruling planet of Gemini, which is Mercury, again, is not retrograde this month, so we do have a lot of help. That is the other thing about your information and needing to redo things. We've had Mercury traveling through the vibration of Taurus, okay? So the ruling planet of this beautiful Jupiter traveling through Gemini energy is in a slow place. It's in Taurus. So Mercury is not whipping and zipping. There's no whip and zip going on right now because the planet has to get on board and do things like the sign would like to. And Taurus is nice and slow, right? So what's really been happening since May 15th, and it'll happen all the way until we get to June 3rd, is that Mercury's been helping you plan things, plot your course, get your details together, be practical, be rational about where you want to go. You say, yes, I do want to take 15 astrology classes, but do I have 15 astrology classes kind of money? You know what I mean? It's asking you to be a bit more practical about where you even have energy to put your resources and where you have mental energy as a resource to put your attention. So we're coming in just a little bit slow. Then we get to June 3rd and Mercury moves into one of its ruling signs, Gemini. So it is at home all the way until June 17th. So here we go. It's moving. Right? We're making decisions. We're talking. The networking is on. We're building ideas. We're building connection. Sometimes it can be when Mercury is in Gemini that there is so much constant information that it can also come up to be constant distraction. So you may have to use a little bit of focus. And some of this, I think, applies to this, like needing to double back or like go over something again where you're like, okay, hold on. I need to refocus. I need to just focus, right? The other thing that I think that this time is going to be good for in this couple weeks is communicating. Anything you needed to communicate, any documents you needed to sign, if you're looking for a lease, you wanted to make travel plans, you're trying to do any kind of networking for marketing or presentations and things like that, you need to apply for a scholarship. This might be a really great energy for you to be able to do that because it's highly social and it is highly communicative. Now, as we get to the 17th, we're going to see that Mercury now is going to take this move and get into that energy of Cancer, okay? So it's a bit more watery. We move into the realm of using our emotional and intuitive intelligence, much more than just pure on brain power, just pure on communication power. But where I think we see the shift is that you've made your connections, you've made your plans, you've doubled back, fixed the things that you needed to, or rethought a plan, gotten rid of distractions. Then you made all your nice connections, signed your contracts. And now, as we're traveling from the 17th all the way until July 2nd, we see that you're taking information in on a more personal level now. Now we're pulling in. It's getting more personal. It's like, okay, hold on. It's not just about the astrology class that I'm taking. It's really bringing it somatically into my body, understanding what does my sun mean? What does my moon mean? Understanding how my emotions are colored or influenced, right? So we really start to pull things in on a more personal level. And all of this speaks to the vibration that we are moving energy forward as we're traveling right here in July. Now, in June, I'm so excited for July, apparently. But I do want to back up for just a second and talk about something else that brings us immediately into June, which is that we've got this beautiful Jupiter in Gemini energy, but it is also going to sit in a trine, a really powerful trine to Pluto that is in Aquarius. Okay, so they're coming together in this trine. And first of all, the trine right here on June 1st, it's a pocket of opportunity. Right? It's talent, it's ease. There's something very easy about your ability to expand or to be influential or to make influential decisions or have a really big impact on your own life and your own world. And why I think it's important to understand that this is a trine here on the 1st is because it can be so easy that you walk by it. It's so easy, it's so confident, it's so comfortable that you don't take advantage of it. But it is pretty rare. We're not going to see it again until September of 2028. So one of the things I want you to think about under this is that you have the ability to make a massive impact and be massively influential on your own life. So what decisions do you feel like are calling to you at this time? Where do you want to expand in a way that you think is going to do the most good, not only for you, but you adding your voice to the whole, to your community, to your world? What improvements are you making on the world around you? Now, the one thing I can say that I think is important here, Jupiter being in Gemini can be very gossipy. Chisme, right? Chisme is how you say gossip in Spanish. So it is important that instead of getting into the chisme, the superficial level, the gossipy level of where your influence can take you, that you take a higher road. There's a lot of integrity that gets called in when we're dealing with air signs, when we're dealing with our ability to communicate information out, because your words, your body language, how you're sharing information has a massive amount of power. And if you take the kind of the high ground, speak the truth, use the air energy to find out, fact checked, right? Fact check. That is going to be to your benefit, because anything I think that we do with this trine that is seeking to pull another person or pull another resource down just to be seen is going to actually end up being pretty detrimental. But then on the other side of it, what you can do is you're speaking the truth. You're speaking in facts. You're listening and paying attention to what's going on and what's needed and how you can provide your influence to it. And then there's an ability to rise. Maybe there's a promotion. Your name gets known a little bit more. You're more of a trusted resource. So here Jupiter has an opportunity to really powerfully help you expand out in a way that I think you think will be incredibly beneficial to you. So keep that in mind. And that energy really kind of started to come into play May 29th. So what was going on for you there? And we'll see it in play. I really think the intensity of it will last until about June 3rd. And then that energy will die down. And like I said, we will not see it again until September of 2028. So also mark this down in your journals. What are you doing on that day? What's happening for you during this cycle? Because we'll see it again when we get to September 2028, which is really not that far away. Now, we are also going to have a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini, and this particular new moon, our luminaries are together, but this particular moon is also in conjunction with Venus and square to Saturn. So first of all, remember the new moon, you're going to be planting your seeds of intention at 16 degrees of Gemini of your chart. Which house is this for you? Because plant your seeds of intention. There's possibility. There's opportunity, there's new energy, there's new information, there's new learning and study that is available for you. You just need to plant your seeds of intention to begin this cycle, and you'll work on this cycle in its entirety for the next 2.5 years. So I'm excited. Let me know in the comment section down below, what are you planting your seeds of intention on? I can tell you right now that one of the seeds of intention that has already been put in place but will be official is that one of my youngest daughter is going to be studying Japanese. She'll be starting at a Japanese school. So super cool. What are your seeds of intention that over the next 2.5 years, we're going to watch it unfold for you? Now, other things to think of at this particular moon is what do you want to write about? What do you want to speak about? What do you want to share about? Who do you want to be aligned with? What kind of neighborhood do you want to live in that you feel like is really going to be in alignment with you, lift your spirit, maybe where you can do the best, right? What's happening with your siblings, your short distance travel? Are you needing to go see people or care for them a little bit more, right? All of these things under the Gemini new moon, especially in conjunction with Venus, is like, call it in. Just call it in, because Venus is an attracting in energy. But square to Saturn, be mindful too that whatever you are calling in right now will take effort. It will take effort. And the biggest piece of the effort, I think, is that you're going to have to believe, you're going to have to get your poop in a group and believe that you're allowed to do, be, have, feel, receive what is available to you right now. You are allowed to have this, because Saturn is traveling through the vibration of Pisces. And it has been telling us we have to get serious. We have to stop talking about this thing, and we have to be about it. We have to believe, Pisces, have faith, Pisces, that we're allowed to call in and align with the vibration of what we would like to experience. The other side of this that I think is really important at this moon is that I think that this particular moon may be healing something for you, whether it is the karma or the dharma side. I do think that there is a healing that's coming in about this, because Saturn is in Pisces. It's healing some old belief, or maybe even some old wound that you've had in place for a very long time. And now believing in yourself, taking this step forward, is actually the healing that gets to come to this. So, are you healing an addiction? Did you have an illness? Did you have, forgiveness that needed to be given? And at this particular moon, you are well on your way to cleaning up that particular karma or receiving the dharma that comes with it. But either way, it's going to take a little bit of work, but you definitely can have it. And that's very, very exciting. Okay, let's talk about Mars, because we're going to see that Mars actually moves into the vibration of Taurus. Now, Mars has been living its best life in the energy of Aries, right? I've had some get up and go. I don't know about you guys, but my get up and go has been phenomenal in the vibration of Aries. I have gotten some stuff done. It's been really, really nice. But now we're going to see, as we get to the 9th, that Mars is going to move into the energy of Taurus. So Mars is going to slow down. Now we're going to slow down all the way until July 20th. So now Mercury has left us the plan. It said, okay, step by step by step in Taurus, here's what you need to do. Here's what we're working towards. Here's the details. And here's what the resources we need to get there. Now Mars rolls in, and Mars is like, okay, let's make it happen. I'm following that step-by-step plan that Mercury left for me. I'm following that step-by-step plan that the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction came in and seeded a beautiful beginning of resource, of finance, of relationship, of abundance, and an awareness of the abundance that now you can make real in your life. So the actions that you're going to be taking from the 9th of the month on with Mars in Taurus are long-lasting action. So around your relationships, around your money, around your self-esteem. I also think too, because, Jupiter spent so long in Taurus, if you put on a little weight, Mars and Taurus might actually be very helpful friends to get a little bit of that off. Jupiter and Gemini certainly makes us want to be lighter. So this may be a perfect combination. Listen, me too. Me too. I've definitely put on 5 or 6 pounds. It's 6 pounds. Okay, so we'll see Mars energy being really, really productive for us. Now, when we get to the 17th, we are going to see Venus move into the vibration of Cancer, but then we're also going to see Mercury moves into the vibration of Cancer. So we're starting, these two are leading the charge to shift our energy a little bit, not so going with the air, mutable, having a bit more anxiety about all of the things that are coming in. Now we're moving into a cardinal energy of Cancer. We're ready to start to bring our attention in, bring it a little bit more personal, a little bit more close to home. Now, as Venus and Mercury are moving in this vibration of Cancer, this is, first of all, a place where, home. I want to say wherever home is for you in your chart, Cancer, whatever that looks like, this may be a time where you're calling in deeper relationships. You're wanting connection. You're wanting to redecorate. You want peace. You want harmony. You want beauty in this particular area of your chart. And Mercury is bringing in a space where you can have these heart-filled conversations. They're more emotional. They're more instinctive, they're more intuitive, they are a place where you're talking about family, you're talking about roots, you're talking about wanting to be grounded in some way. I'm looking at here at some other aspects. I think there could also be, I mean, it's Venus, there's an element of maybe romance or sensuality that could be coming in. You know, it's a very tender kind of dance as these two are in here. Then we get into the 20th and the sun officially moves into Cancer. So now we're in Cancer season. We've got the next 4 weeks. We're going to be heightened and paying attention to this area of your chart and what you're starting personally in an emotional level that makes you feel like you are secure and you have roots. But also we're at a solstice point. This is boom. We are in a new season. No matter where you are in the world, you're at a solstice point. We are in a new season. So cardinals, start fresh. What do you need from this point in the year to feel like you have secure roots in your life? Where are you willing over the next 4 weeks to be motivated? You have light, heat, life, motivation to find your grounding, to make a home, to make sure home here, your emotions feel like they have a home to not only live full and big in your life and in your body, but honestly as well. So these are beautiful questions that we're going to be asking as we travel over this next 4 weeks. All right, so as we press on and we get to the 21st, we've got a full moon that's going to be happening at 1 degree of Capricorn. Now, we are going to see another lunation happening at the end of the Capricorn degrees. So first things first, not only is this particular full moon asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment, but it is also sitting in a T-square to Neptune with the waiting next lunation to be in the same sign. So there's an indicator to us, first of all, that whatever we start here, there's something not clear about it. Whatever is going on, whatever we're working on, I really want you to pay attention to the themes because you're going to see it again in July. And Neptune is making it so that something is not clear. Something is dissolving around it, or something looks like something, but it's not really what it is. So you will likely need to do this again, or you think, okay, this is it. I'm putting some structure in place for my life. This is it. I'm doing it this time, right? And it doesn't quite take all the way. And then we get into July, and at that particular lunation around the 21st, then the things can stick. There is this awesome opportunity here for you to remember who you are. Maybe at this particular first lunation, you're finding out who you are, like you forgot that you are magical, forgot you are worthy, you forgot you are skilled, you forgot that things in your life that you have been through are actually a valuable, valid resource, and you are an authority on everything that is your experience. Not on the things that are your opinion, but the things that are your experience. You are 100% an authority, and you might have forgot that, or maybe nobody told you, right? So we need this kind of T-square to be creating this disillusion and has to dissolve some maybe old ideas again about what you're allowed to do, be, have, think, feel, and deserve in this lifetime. But when we come back to this lunation, if you've paid attention to your themes, what we see in July will be able to stick. The other thing about Neptune here is if you feel doubtful, just pause for a minute. The information will get clarity and will represent itself. So if you're agitated, if you're doubtful, if you just don't feel like you have a 100% yes or a 100% no just yet, it's okay at this particular lunation to pause. And I just want you to know that you will find your connection. And I actually think that you will feel that sense of, okay, I'm not really sure, especially right when we get to the 22nd, okay, just a day later, because actually what we're going to see is that the sun, who's just come into Cancer, is sitting in a quincunx to Pluto, who's retrograded back into this 1 degree of Aquarius. So there's something about it where you're having to adjust, but in order to grow here, in order to have the influence or have the needed power to make the changes you want to, you're having to grow, but you're unsure maybe exactly how to apply yourself or exactly how to get it done. Now, as we're going to close out this month, we're actually going to see that Saturn over here in Pisces is going to officially take its retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces, and it will back up all the way to 12 degrees of Pisces, and we'll see it come direct in November. Now, for perspective, because I like the full cycle, we actually saw Saturn move into its pre-retrograde shadow time on March 23rd of this year, and it will come all the way out of this retrograde cycle in February of 2025. So pay attention to some things that were starting to come up for you at that time about your belief structure, how you believed in yourself. Remember, I talked about Saturn and Pisces, like you have to stop talking about it. You have to be about it now. You have to believe in yourself, and that belief has got to start to take a little bit of form, right? You got to take that leap of faith to get out there, to put that thing out there. You've got to crystallize your knowledge of spirituality, things in between the worlds. Also, information that was false has been absolutely false, whether it be in the world or it's been in your own story for the last 30 years, has been working its way to the surface for truth. So, between March and February of 2025, share with us, what house are you getting realizations in? What house of your chart is this happening for you? And as you see it, as you get to February of 2025, what are you finding out that you're like, wow, I've had a real overhaul here in my belief system, in what I believe, in maybe even what I've believed about health, illnesses, medicine, religion, teachers that have been in my life, truths about society, right? This has got pretty big range, but the impact and the power of what you learn that has been authoring your story is likely going to be dissolved. It gets moved out of the way. It's stopping you from moving forward, from ascending to where you need to go next. So the Saturn retrograde, though it is subtle because it's one of the transpersonal planets, and I know not everybody gets excited about it, I think it's still going to be really impactful, especially if you're tracking your astrology to see what this can do for you. Now, in a very practical Tauran kind of way, the energy of the world around us, our society, like things have been moving forward, been moving towards this new world, and things have been trucking forward. Now things with Pluto and now Saturn retrograde are going to start to slow down. So it's kind of like you've seen into the new world, you know what you're going to need now, or you have some understanding of what you're going to need to move into that world. And now you can start to get your structures, your beliefs, your ideas, these old things that have been holding you back out of the way, but you get to work on it in energy that's a little bit more familiar to you. It's not so much push forward into a new world. Now it's about you push forward with the skills and the reorientation that you need to be able to successfully navigate the world that we are moving into as we come to the end of 2020. Hello, my beautiful Aries friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. We're Aries this month as we are coming into the month. It's really nice to take a look at what your ruling planet Mars is getting into, because it has been in your sign all the way since the end of April, right? And it stays here until June 9th before it's going to switch and it's going to move into this Taurus energy. So Aries, the first thing I want you to know is coming into your month, you have still a fair amount of oomph, a fair amount of energy in your tank in this first 9 days of June. So if you needed to start something, you needed energy to get something done, you want to push something forward, this is really a delicious time for you to be able to do that, because not only do you just have that natural Mars strength and drive and energy, but also typically when Mars is at home in your sign, there's a lot of it's like virility and magnetism that you're kind of beaming with. Whenever the home planet is at home, it's a great time to be experiencing that. So I would encourage you in this first 9 days, if you've got something that needs to be done, this area, your area of you being you, is really, really well energized. Now, this is fantastic information as well, because right here, the energy of the 1st and the 2nd of June has Jupiter and Pluto in a beautiful trine to each other. So this is a conversation between your 3rd house and your 11th house. So this is a connection of, maybe somebody from a social space, whether it be social media, a friendship group, maybe even it's someone that is connected to an aspiration or a desire that you have for yourself, is bringing you information, or they're providing you an opportunity. I would encourage you, Aries, say yes. It's almost an opportunity, Aries, too, where you get to kind of learn as you go. But as Jupiter and Pluto are dancing together, this is a powerful, powerful energy to be able to be empowered and have influence in the spaces and the spheres that you go. So I really encourage you to say yes to the dress, okay? And if the dress happens to be a job, that's just fine as well. Now, when we get to the 3rd, we're going to see that Mercury moves into the energy of Gemini, where we've also got Jupiter traveling through Gemini right now as well. So this lights up still that 3rd house sector, and your 3rd house is getting a fair amount of attention right now. So your intellectual capacity, things that you're talking about, even communication or the pace of life, maybe you're traveling, it's sped up. And I could even say that you might be so sped up that there are multiple tasks going on and you're feeling a little discombobulated, or you're just having to move at a speed that is outside of your comfort zone. And I wouldn't worry too much about it. Contracts, things going on with siblings, travel arrangements, lots of information coming in. And, the grand world of AI and information is absolutely lit up right now. Jupiter and Gemini has made it really go crazy. So I'm going to encourage you, as Mercury comes here as well, to not get too bogged down in the distractions of things. I know there's a lot, Aries, I know you want to know everything, but you just are not going to be able to do it. So also, while you're breathing in all of this beautiful movement of intellectual deliciousness, make sure you try to avoid the distractions, stay as focused as you can on the things you need to know, network where you can, but be networking in the places and giving your attention to the networks that are going to actually help you build towards a goal or a desire or a project you're wanting to actually bring to fruition. That's going to be really, really important for you, okay? Now, we've got a new moon that's going to be happening at 16 degrees of Gemini, again in this 3rd house space for you. And so lighting up your communication space, this 3rd house, you've got your opportunity to plant your seeds of intention. And planting your seeds of intention here in this 3rd house, it really has a fair amount to do with what plans would you like to set in motion? What do you want to move forward? Because the energy is really quite vibrant, down to, are you thinking you want to start your own podcast? You want to write that book? You want to take a course? You want to teach something? Whatever it is, it's kind of like the soil of your life is pretty fertile right now. Is there a contract that you wanted to sign? Whatever it is, you've got the energy right here available at your fingertips. Now, this particular moon is also conjunct Venus, square Saturn. So it does say that whatever you start, just call it into you, be willing to say yes, but also you're going to have to work for it. And the big work here, Aries, is that you have to believe that you can have it, and you have to believe that you can do it, because Saturn in Pisces is saying, no, we have to stop talking about it and be about it. And the be about it has to do with believing that you are allowed to do, be, have, and feel what you really want to have in this lifetime. So I look forward to seeing what that is for you. Now, on the 9th, your ruling planet Mars is going to move into the vibration of Taurus. So now, while you've been doing, pushing, moving things, having all of this energized vibrance, your actions are going to actually slow down and get a bit more particular and meticulous all the way until July 20th. Now, first of all, what are you getting meticulous about? You've got to pay attention to those finances. Pay attention to those finances. And I would not be surprised, Aries, for some of you, if the summer really isn't a higher spending season for you, but it can also be the time where you're bringing more information into your mind and into your actual strategy, physical reality on how you can make more money or make your money make money. So energize this financial area of your chart with your actions for absolute certain, okay? On the 17th, we've got Venus moving into Cancer. We've also got Mercury moving into Cancer. And then on the 20th, we've got the Sun moving into Cancer. So the Cancerian area, all having to do with home, family, property, real estate, your roots, connecting in some way. You get all of these energies pulling in, and you're ready to make decisions. You're ready to have conversations and focus yourself in a very domestic way. Now, one of the things is that it may kind of be like you're like, I just want to be at my house, or I want to go home. And for some of you, it's like you're going back home in some nostalgic kind of way, almost like you're reviewing if that home is still home. So please let me know in the comment section down below if that is you, because that will definitely have your attention as we come into this second half. But also, you'll have fresh beginnings because Cancer is a cardinal energy, right? So you're beginning something new conceptions about home. And sometimes to find out where home currently is, you have to go back to what you thought home was and find out that it's really not there anymore. So process of deduction. For some of you too, it may just be flat out that you are, you're ending a job, you're moving someplace else, getting a new house, these kinds of things. There's absolutely that energy available. On the 21st, we've got a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn, and it also sits in T-square to Neptune, and very quickly we're going to have another full moon that's going to happen in Capricorn as well, and that's going to be July 21st. So something to note here is that this is important. We've got an early degree moon and then back to back with another moon in the same sign, and they're both full moons. So what it gives the indicator of here, Aries, is that something is changing at work. Something is ending with something that, had an authority over you, whether it was work, an old idea, a marriage. These things can be ending, or you're saying, I need to end something, I need to acknowledge something, or I need to make an adjustment. There's some kind of really big pivot that is showing up here. But whatever the pivot is, it is absolutely putting you in a position to go in a different direction. However, I don't think that at this particular full moon, Aries, that you are super clear on what all of that is. What I think you're more clear on is that there is a professional, there is an authoritative or a reputation switch that is definitely happening, even though that Neptune T-square, you're like, I don't quite fully see it. Almost, Aries, like it feels like if I take this leap over here, am I being delusional? It could feel like that. And what I want to say to you is hang tight. You're going to relook at this when we get to July 21st. So it is yours. You are allowed to have it. Okay. You are allowed to change your reputation in public, in your family, in your career, but just hang tight. You'll have a lot more clarity when we get to that next moon that comes on the 21st. Okay. Now, when we get to the 22nd, this is an interesting dynamic that just comes after. It's a small aspect, but it's kind of annoying. The sun is in Cancer and is going to be in a quincunx to Pluto that's in Aquarius. So some of the other lack of clarity is that somebody could be telling you, hey, you need to make an adjustment here, right? Like you're not doing this very well, and they could be telling you, and you could face this as I'm the worst person and really take it very critically. Or you could take it as a guidepost to go, okay, wait a minute. If I let this person teach me or show me or make a suggestion about how I can go in a different direction, what could I learn for it? So I really want to tell you on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, be quick to see where another person could be right in a productive way. And if they're just telling you some stuff that is just them projecting on you and it's BS, then whatever. But the quincunx aspect, again, solidifies for me, Aries, that you might not be fully clear, and it can feel like an itchy tag and you're really having to adjust. But what ultimately is happening happening is you are starting a new life that will fit in the world that is to come, especially as Pluto gets back into Aquarius. So you're doing good work, Aries, okay? As we're going to close out this month on the 29th, we've got Saturn moving into retrograde in the energy of Pisces. Now, full disclosure, Saturn went into its pre-retrograde shadow time actually March 23rd. So, when it got to that 12 degrees of Pisces, what was starting to come up, go on for you? Saturn being our planet of limitations, timekeeping, karma, lessons, things like that, and being in Pisces in the 12th house, something behind the scenes, something that has to do with an illness, immunity issues, somebody with addictions, babies, elderly people, right? Something that has been hidden or was from the past that you didn't really have clarity over, your actions and attitudes that are your own undoing, right? All of these things around March 23rd, what started to happen or go on for you? Now, as Saturn takes this retrograde officially on the 29th, it's going to be at 19 degrees of Pisces. So make sure you're checking your chart to see where this is happening in your own personal chart. And then it'll back up all the way to 12 degrees of Pisces until November 15th. So we get 4.5 months to work through what is happening, what's been going on in the hidden zone, what's been going on with your health, mental health, wellness, has somebody been keeping a secret, what is it that's coming from the past that you're like, yeah, I feel like I'm cleaned up my karma here. You could even have some dharma coming in. Maybe you're going back into your community, a home, a society, again, these ideas that had authority over you before, and you're like, yeah, that doesn't fit for me anymore. And we will officially leave the post-retrograde shadow time when we get to February 18th of 2025. So really, truly, think about how long you have to come to a new belief system. And it's not just a belief system. It's not something you keep in your head. This changes your heart, Aries, about what you're allowed to have. It allows you to travel a bit lighter. You have less baggage that you're carrying because you're also doling out charity and forgiveness of yourself and of others as well. All right, Aries, I think you've got a beautiful beginning of the solstice energy coming for you. Please let me know how it's shaping up for you in the comment section down below. I love you, and I'll see you next month. Hello, my beautiful Taurus friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024, where Taurus this month is a really phenomenal financial month for you, especially the first half of the month. And then when we get to the second half of the month, we're actually going to switch gears, and it's a little bit better for communicating, signing contracts, travel, sharing ideas, and things like that. But make no doubt that the beginning part of the month, where we have still got some absolutely beautiful Gemini energy flying around, it is a wonderfully auspicious time for you in terms of your finances, okay? Now, when we're starting out this month at the first, we've got Jupiter in a trine to this beautiful energy of Pluto. Now, this is a game changer for you, Taurus. It really is, because what it sets the stage for you, first of all, to do is to have a really nice expansion in your professional zone. There's something around potentially a financial decision or an opportunity to expand in your professional horizons that maybe you couldn't fully take advantage of in months before. Or it's that you've been working on something and now it's starting to stick. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense, and it's coming to fruition. It's a really lovely kind of energy. So I would love to see you take full advantage of that energy as Jupiter is going to travel this earned income sector for you. And then, of course, Pluto's over here in your career space. So the other thing I want to share with you here is that, remember, Taurus, in what you want to do, make sure it is what you want to do, because this is going to have a lot of power and a lot of influence into your life. So whatever it is that you decide to do, put your energy and your heart into something that you feel like is going to give you the financial, the resource outcome that you really, truly want, okay? When we get to the third, we're going to see that Mercury is going to move into the vibration of Gemini. So it's coming home. It's coming into its home sign, where it is going to be perfectly comfortable, rocking and rolling for you. And this is putting a little bit more emphasis into the second house as well. So you've got a lot of conversation, decision making. You may be teaching, you may be writing, you may be traveling in some way, but make no doubt, no bones about it, because Mercury is not retrograde this month. You are going to be a busy, busy person person, a busy Taurus, as this Gemini energy is rolling around, and it's all talks about money, resources, relationships, the way that you make money. These are going to be the things that are going to be in your conversation wheelhouse. Now, when we get to the 6th, we've got a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini, okay? And this particular new moon is in conjunction with Venus, your ruling planet, but it is also in a square to Saturn. So this catches our attention for a couple reasons. That first of all, this is again more emphasis and more input put into this second house for you. So it's a time where you're planting your seeds of intention to begin something new around your money. And you're being given this really beautiful opportunity with Venus here in this conjunction to just pull it towards you. Ask it to come, call it in, get your vibe right, create resource streams so that money can come to you. How do you make space in your life for money to come to you? That's really the question I would have you consider. But also remember, in this square to Saturn, whatever it is, yes, the opportunity to have money to come to you is here, or to create a stream. And we want to create multiple streams of income, right, to come to you, but you're going to have to work for it. That's the Saturn piece, right? It's not that you have to break your back, but you do have to bring some work, and the work may just be discipline. Where have you lacked discipline, or where have you been immature in your thinking around your resources, your money, your relationship, your value in what you're charging and your prices of how you make money, right? So this is an awesome opportunity for you to do a lot of cultivation in this particular area. Now, when we get to the 9th, we're going to see Mars move into the vibration of Taurus. Now, Mars has been whipping and zipping over here in this Aries energy, and it's been all through your hidden house, your private sector, the things that are unseen, okay? And that's okay, because it's had an opportunity, I think, Taurus, for you in this last, month or so to work on things behind the scenes, to really be in this space of developing or sorting out, or maybe you're even sorting out things behind the scenes, to some of which could be your mindset, your belief set, your vibrational set around money. How are you connected to your own Venus in your chart? What is your relationship, Taurus, with rest, with ease, with comfort, with allowing things to come to you, with not having to be in the hustle hard life all the time? How do you feel as you sit in your body? Do you understand your own innate value, right? So wherever there have been challenges, whether they've been spiritual, psychological, even things having to do with maybe, things from your past, I think that Mars has actually been helping you spend some time, take some action on these things, right? And a big place for Tauran energy can also be that energy and old beliefs get stuck in your body. So, potentially even while Mars was traveling here in the 12th house, you needed to sweat a little bit, or you were becoming to your attention why you needed to sweat a little bit, okay? Now we get to the 9th, and Mars comes into your sign, and it'll be here all the way until July 20th. So this is the time where you can start something new. Mars in your energy it's not even, I don't want to say start something new, but you can put your initiative into moving something forward. And what are you going to move forward? You take the lead. You get to lead right now, Taurus. You're going in the direction that you want to go, but you get to be like the captain of this particular ship. Now, the other thing I do like about it is that when Mars comes to your sign, it's like all that Venusian delicious Taurusness gets amped up just a little bit, right? It's like a little bit more magnetism. You're calling things to you. You're standing up in your own power and in your courage in a different way that makes you even more attractive to the vibrations that are around you. So I would encourage you highly, Taurus, to really step up, stand in your power, in every area of your life, from love, money, professional things, your health, your spirituality, your past, your sex life, all of these things. I would encourage you to really step up and stand in the seat of your power. Now, on the 17th, a bit of a busy day. Actually, the 17th till the 22nd is a set of busy days as we switch some energies. Now, first of all, we're going to see that Venus on the 17th moves into the vibration of Cancer, and then just behind that, Mercury is going to move into Cancer. Then on the 20th, we see the Sun move into Cancer as well. So now we're beginning this Cancerian vibration. We're at the solstice, okay? So we're starting to think more about the things that are happening in your communication sector, because this lights up the third house space for you. So things that you're talking about, but the way that you're talking about them, the way that you're going about making deals, signing contracts, any of these kinds of things are coming from a Cancerian place. Like you're using a lot of emotional intelligence around this. You are taking action on what intuitively really feels strong and really feels good to you. Your conversation may even be more about home, family, real estate, property in this Cancerian way. But where I think it's going to be the strongest for you, Taurus, is that you're going to be having conversations, signing contracts, making decisions, learning things, teaching things that are about bringing new skills into your life that allow you to nurture security into your own life and into your own world. So I think that that's something we're going to see you focusing on, that kind of prosperity as we're here in this Cancerian vibration. Now on the 21st, we're going to have a full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn. Now, because we're having this full moon at 1 degree, we're going to have another full moon at a later degree of Capricorn when we get into July. So this is our signal right here that, first of all, whatever happens in this full moon, you're going to see it again very quickly here in the next few weeks, okay? You're going to see it again. So just know you need to do this twice. Not only that, this particular full moon is in a T-square to Neptune. So it tells us that something that you're working on, you are ready to move it forward or pursue it in some way, but there's something about it that's not entirely clear. Now, this full moon is going to light up your 9th house space. So publishing, marketing, broadcasting, travel, but we're talking international travel. We're jumping oceans, things like that. Things having to do with higher education, immigration, the law, these kinds of things are going to be coming to your attention. So I'm telling you, listen, go with it. Let this T-square do what it needs to do for you, because it is acting to dissolve something, but you maybe don't need to make the biggest decisions at this particular full moon about your full pivot, because you're going to interact with it again come July 21st. And this will be the second time, and the second time it will stick, okay? Now, when we get to the end of the month on the 29th, we see Saturn going retrograde in the vibration of Pisces all the way until November 15th. So we're going to watch Saturn retrograde through Pisces from 19 degrees to 12 degrees. So what's really been going on here, first of all, is this has been lighting up your 11th house space and your social life and all things that have to do with social things, social media, long-range ambitions and goals that you have for yourself. So as Saturn goes retrograde, one of the things I want to tell you is that, first of all, if you start to see some shifts, or you start to see people coming back into your life, or ideas or opportunities coming back, or the other thing is I think when Saturn goes retrograde, we have enough time to slow down and look around and get a different perspective on what we're even doing in the world. Like, how do you relate to these people, your social life, your friends in the world that is around you, right? Are you aligned with the kind of people who are living in a way that you want to mature in, or that you want to grow into? Saturn can also bring drama or karma into the lives of your friends, and you're really acting as this more mature person, or you're growing into your maturity in this. But I think having had Pluto recently go retrograde in Aquarius, along with now this Saturn retrograde, where we're having to demonstrate a lot of faith that we believe that we are allowed to have these things in our life, the good things in our life. I think that we're also going to see many, many Tauran friends and families reevaluating the way that they engage with social things, social media, all of these social kind of issues that tend to come up. So if things feel like they're a little bit off as Saturn is traveling this retrograde for the next 4.5 months, really it's more about what had started to come into your life, Taurus, around March 23rd of this year, especially around your friends, your social media and things like that. And what adjustments can you make that are really going to stick for you by the time we get to February of 2025. All right, Taurus, have a gorgeous month. I love you, and I'll be with you next month. My beautiful Gemini friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. And right out of the gate, happy birthday, Gemini. Man, it is rocking and rolling for you, especially in this first half of the month. There is quite a bit going on. Not only do we obviously have the sun traveling over here, right? But we've also got Venus traveling over here in your sign. We've got Mars traveling through Aries, but that sits beautifully sextile to your energy. So there's a lot of umph coming there. And then let us not forget that Jupiter has moved into your sign and will spend its first full month in your sign. So expansion is on the table. And then we're not done, right? We're not done, because as soon as we get to the third of the month, just a couple days in, we get your ruling planet Mercury coming into your sign. So Gemini, listen, friend, it is a good month for taking yourself forward. Now, whether that be that you would like to move yourself forward personally, professionally, wherever your new beginnings are at, I would encourage you to really use this first half of the month to initiate some things, to move some things forward the best that you can. Now, always the key when we're dealing with Jupiter being in your sign is that there can be so many options. So many options, almost too many options that are on the table. So you kind of have to decide here, Gemini, pick a couple containers, because we know you're not going to choose just one thing to commit to, but maybe a couple containers, one or two things that you say, listen, I am committed and willing to learn about these two particular things in my life for the next year. And I'm willing to be taught about them. That's the really big important key here with Jupiter, is that you need to welcome in a teacher, because you're at the end of what you know. So in order to really expand this and take it out, you've got to have some learning that's also going on here. But this month is a time to do it. As soon as we're coming into the month here on the 1st, we've got Jupiter and Pluto in a trine. Now, Jupiter is obviously in your sign, but Pluto's traveling through your 9th house of publishing, marketing, broadcasting, higher education, training, expansion, faith, beliefs, legal things. So whatever it is that you're trying to develop here, this month, you've got an opportunity as soon as we are coming in to make and get on board with this big, beautiful expansion that is available to you. So I would encourage you right here at the beginning of the month to take it on. On the 3rd, we do see Mercury getting out of that Tauran energy and moving into the vibration of Gemini, coming home, and it will be here all the way until the 17th. So Mercury is not in retrograde this month. So the conversations that you need to have, decisions that need to be made, and again, that's whether they're personal or professional, they're to your favor at this particular time, so feel comfortable with making them. On the 6th, we've got a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini, conjunct Venus, square to Neptune. Now, this particular new moon, I like the conjunction with Venus. I think it's also about attracting things to you, and it's attracting things to you in your new vibration. As soon as Jupiter moved into your sign, you got shifted in your vibe just a little, whether you're fully conscious of it or not. And now, as Venus is here with this moon, it's going to start to just pull in. It's going to start to pull things to you. Now, the thing that's great about that is that you can be intentional. Your vibe attracts your tribe. What do you want? And are you, with this being your season of your birthday, is this like a makeover? Are you having a little glow up? But for some of you, are you having a glow down? Like, are you getting to where you would like your aesthetic to be? And then what is that also drawing towards you? But this moon is also square to Saturn, okay? So whatever you start here, it is important to understand that, yes, you can have it, but you also have to believe that you are allowed to have this, that this is something that is also available to you. And this is in your work zone. So, Gemini, is this a case and a story of you haven't really blossomed the way that you would have wanted to in professionally in some way or personally, and now you're in a place where you're being asked under this moon to plant your seeds of intention to begin and build something over the next couple years that really you are allowed to have if you're willing to put a little discipline into having it as well, okay? When we get to the 9th, we see Mars move into the vibration of Taurus. Now, Mars in Taurus slows down, thank goodness, right? Thank goodness, because we've been whipping and zipping, and I know that has probably felt really very good to you. And while we got all of that negotiating and moving things around and all of that good stuff, we've needed to have a slowdown now to actually put into action the strategies that we have been building. And as Mars is traveling through the vibration of Taurus, we will be able to do this. And the other thing I like about this is that as Mars is traveling through Taurus, any of the people or any of the networks that you kind of built while Mars was traveling through Aries, now you can figure out who's solid, who's going to stick, who's going to be staying by you, which resources actually have enough value for you to continue to invest your energy in. So just know that, traveling all the way until July 20th, you are really, you've got Mars in the vibration of a Venus ruled energy. So it is trying to attract to you and show you where to take action in ways that have the most value. And the ways that, also occur to you that it's like, if I'm going to work hard on something, it needs to be something that is really going to be valuable to me. And I think that this transit helps you with that. Now, on the 17th, we start to switch energy for sure. Okay. So on the 17th, we've got Venus moving into Cancer. Just behind that, we'll have Mercury move into Cancer. And then on the 20th, we'll have the Sun move into Cancer. So in your chart, what we're seeing here is now the second house is being really, really lit up, and your attention is going from you and what you're doing and how you're starting the year, and you're starting to put your energy into your finances. And it's like, what's happening with your financial life? What's happening with decisions that you are making? Now, Venus, this whole kind of mini stellium of planets moving through this earned income space of your chart is awesome for not building income streams. I'm not a big fan of income streams. Build an income river, right? How do you build income rivers into your life? How do you use your skills to let money come to you? What does this look like in this particular area of your life? And I think that there's a lot of energy in Cancer to be used there, because it's also going to be really intuitively in alignment with how you would like to work. Because what Cancer's great for is being a cardinal energy, which means you're starting something, but also it's going to be done in a way that allows you to have security, and you feel like you can be secure with how you make money, how you're sharing your money in these kinds of things, okay? Now, when we get to the 21st, we see a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn in a nice T-square to Neptune. Now, because this full moon here is asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or to adjust something, but it's happening at 1 degree of Capricorn, we're also going to see that there's going to be another full moon coming on July 21st at a later degree of Capricorn. So the thing to know about whatever you decide to pivot on, you end, you acknowledge, you adjust right here in your 8th house, which has to do with your shared resources, your partner's money that you get from another source, an inheritance, maybe insurance, maybe you got a settlement, something like that. You're going to need to redo it. Okay. You're going to see it again when we get to July. So be easy with the plans that you make. Let's say that you said, I want to pay off debt. 8th house is great for detox. So you're like, okay, this is it. I'm committed. I'm going to do it. I'm paying off this debt. But then it's like there's something in the water and you can't quite make it happen. But when we get back to July 21st and we have that second full moon in Capricorn, then that one will be able to stick. So just be a little bit easy with this particular full moon. Now, as we're going to close out the month, we've got Saturn going retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces all the way until November 15th, where we will see it come direct at 12 degrees of Pisces, okay? Now, as we've been looking at the Saturn traveling through Pisces, it again really has been the story of you having some faith about what you're allowed to have in your professional life, or demonstrating your expertise in your professional life, setting boundaries, but also, being creative and talented, but also needing to bring this into some material reality success. It's also been, I think, a space with Saturn can often show where we're demonstrating a genuine mastery of our craft or our knowledge, or we're maturing, but then we need to be recognized for it in some way. Somebody needs to tell us we're a master, right? Because you're not a master if you just think you know stuff, but you become a master of your craft when we are recognized. And for you moving through this 10th house, this retrograde time here, I think is really bringing to your attention to solidify where maybe you need to re-engage, rethink, reapply some discipline, re-author a new story for yourself in your professional world. Now, really think, Gemini, about things that came into your life around March 23rd of this year, because those are going to be the things that, as those came to the table, if there was any kind of holdback, delay, doubt going on in that particular arena, now you'll have a chance to sort those things out. And by the time we get all the way out of Saturn's post-retrograde shadow time, when we get to February 18th, you should be good to go for having beautiful changes that are not only solid, well-disciplined, but a good foundation for you to work for and to build mastery from in both your professional and your public life. All right, Geminis, let me know how the month goes in the comment section down below. Bye, my beautiful Cancer friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June, where it is birthday month, which is really very cool. So happy birthday. But before we get to the second half of the month and we welcome in birthday time for you, we have got to finish out this beautiful Gemini season, which means, Cancer, that as we're coming into this month, there's a sense of you're still in this reflective time. There's a lot of introspection going on for you as Gemini rules through this 12th house space. Now, not only do we have the sun in Gemini, we've recently had Jupiter move into Gemini. My goodness, we've got Mercury getting ready to come into Gemini as well, and that is the ruling planet of Gemini. So really, truly, if we move back into the beginning of Gemini season, which was in May, you started to slow down. It's a slower period, and maybe you're moving fast, maybe your legs are moving quickly out there, but it really has been a time that's been more about your introspection, slowing down, your creativity, your intuition, spirituality, getting aligned not only with yourself, but with the truth about things that'll help you heal mentally, physically, and spiritually. And this is a really big piece of information. Now, I have always been taught that when Jupiter transits your 12th house, or if you have Jupiter in your 12th house of your natal chart, or whichever, if you've got Jupiter in the 12th house, at any rate, that this is like all of the spiritual work you need to do, or anything that's behind the scenes. You're being you've got like a guardian angel that is doing the work with you, helping you do the work. It's protecting you while you get down to what you need to get to, which is causes and conditions of your spiritual life. So really, some of the things that you're continuing to look at, you're going to look at it with Jupiter here for the next year, but what you're also looking at here while you finish out this 12th house space is, what information is coming up for you, where you're needing to sit down and actually write or journal or just kind of have this investigation, or you're pouring out your story from the past, or maybe you're even getting free from ideas of the past. But whatever it is in this 12th house space, you've got a beautiful bed of really fertile soil where all of your spirituality, all of your creativity can really be, you can plant seeds of intention to have it bloom and blossom brilliantly and really nourish this area. It's a lot of healing that is available for you. Now, as we're getting started on the month on the 1st, we've got Jupiter in a trine to Pluto. And this energy is actually, I think, just brilliant, because one of the things it brings to my attention, almost immediately for you is the opportunity that you have to actually let go of something that has been holding you down. Right? It's an idea from the past. It's a situation from the past, and it's an addiction. It is an illness. There is an energy here where if contracts are done in your life, is it time for a parent or a pet or something like that to transition out? These things you're agreeing to let them go because they're no longer part of the cycle of your contract anymore. So it's a really influential time having that trine. And then as we move forward on the 3rd, we see Mercury get into the vibration of Gemini, lighting up this 12th house space with conversation, with decisions that need to be made. Maybe you're writing a book, maybe you're journaling, maybe you're singing, you're humming, you're breathing, getting into some breath work, having conversations with people from the past. But I also think that it's going to be a great time going all the way until the 17th of the month, where you're maybe making decisions about something that you're working on behind the scenes, and then you're going to get ready to bring it out in the second half of the month around birthday time. Now, on the 6th, we've got a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini, and this particular lunation is conjunct Venus and square to Saturn. So one of the first indicators that we have here is that this new moon is about you planting your seeds of intention, Cancer, to begin something new, but it's something spiritual. It's spiritual freedom. It's spiritual creativity. It's spiritual depth. It is freeing yourself from behaviors, actions, or attitudes, situations that could be your own undoing. But remember, again, you're doing all of this work with beautiful Jupiter traveling through Gemini. You've got your guardian angel right there. You know, remember that you are seated in the palm of the universe, and what you want wants you, and you are safe, loved, and protected no matter what. But I also think it's really wise to remember that the universe wins every single time. So it's how long can you endure not getting in alignment with the universe that, you know, you kind of have to figure out in your own situation how much you can hang on. So the universe tends to, you're always going to go the direction of the universe, and you can walk or you can be drugged. That's really what I think some of this energy comes down to, but you are protected while you do that work, however you're going to do that work, okay? Now, on the 9th, we see Mars moving into the energy of Taurus. Now, Mars has been living its best life over in Aries, fellow cardinal energy. But when we get to June 9th and we see Mars move into Taurus, now all of these things that you were starting, your actions were starting things in this Tauran vibration, or excuse me, in this Aries vibration. Now, as we're here in the Taurus vibration, this is going to be about making your plans. And one of the things that really caught my eye about this is that I think that Cancer, many of you are going to be, it's like there's something you want to be known for, or there's maybe a different path or a different way of being in the world, and you want to be known for something different, or it's like your title is changing. So you're having to take actions that facilitate that movement, but you're doing it in a very social way. So you would be traveling with, having conversation with other groupings of people or something like that. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't find yourself, you know, having more people or having more relationship things happening in your life, because it's such a social energy. And you put Mars in a social place, but then you put Mars in Taurus that is ruled by Venus. So you're naturally kind of attracting people to you. So there's going to be some dynamic of being very, very social. Now, we do need to remember, though, Cancer, that Mars is Mars. Now, in your social group in some way, whether it be a friend, on social media, an organization that you're a part of, if there needs to be a fight, there's going to be a fight. Mars is an inflammatory energy. So if there needs to be a fight or something needs to be said or something like that, you know, that's definitely going to be there for some sizzle and crackle as well. When we get to the 17th, we start to change directions for the month of the energy. So first of all, we'll have Venus move into the vibration of Cancer. Right behind that, Mercury comes into Cancer. And on the 20th, we've got birthday time. So we've got the sun moving into Cancer, and you're also bringing in our beautiful solstice change of season energy. So happy, happy birthday to you. Now, I want you to think about this. As we come into your birthday time, first of all, there is an embracing to happen, right? If you are, you're back here at another year, at another solar return, another trip around this whole globe, and it is a beautiful month for you to embrace that you have got another year under your belt. You made it, whatever it looked like. I mean, even if you are coming over the birthday finish line with your eyelashes stuck to your forehead, you made it, Cancer. Okay, you made it. So I want you to embrace that and have a little bit of a celebration about that, but also look back on the last year and what did you learn? Where have you grown? Where are you able to embrace a little bit more beauty, a little bit more receptivity, these principles of Venus, a little bit more ease? Where are you a little bit more tactful, a little bit more charming? Where do you feel more capable to trust yourself to make decisions? Where are you surrounded at this point in the year with people, places, and things that are really supporting your change and your best good, right? This is a really lovely time for you to be considering these kinds of energies because it is all about you. So because it's birthday time too, and you've got all this energy rumping and pumping through your first house, if you wanted to change your aesthetic, get a haircut, you're gaining some weight, you're losing some weight. You know, if you're single, this is a great time to maybe look at meeting someone. Whatever it is, you've really got a nice, vibrant energy working with you. Now, on the 21st, we're going to have a full moon in Capricorn, which is across the street. So your 7th house. So this has to do with relationships. Now, the one thing I want to tell you is that although this is the full moon that's going to ask us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment, this is a pivot point, okay? Because this moon has two things going. First of all, it sits in a T-square to Neptune, so it's saying that something about this particular moon is like not clear. You're like, wait, I'm on my way, I'm making these changes, I'm doing this thing, but you're not quite clear, you know? What's happening in a relationship? You're like, hold on, I thought we were going in a different direction. I thought something was happening. I thought this was really strong. You know, whatever it is, like you just don't quite have the full clarity on it, and that's okay. The thing I want to tell you is don't freak out. That's okay, because Neptune is just leaving a little bit of confusion, but we've got this full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn, and July 21st, we're going to have another full moon, back-to-back full moons in the same sign. So this will be at a later degree of Capricorn, which is our signal too. You need to do this twice. The first one is not going to stick. Don't worry about it. Like, gather the information, but be easy. Be easy, okay, with whatever's coming or going in your relationship style at this particular time. Be easy. You have better and more clear answers as we get to the next full moon happening at July 21st. So just know you're going to do this thing twice, okay? Now, on the 29th, as we're closing out this month, we've got Saturn going retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces all the way until November, where we will see Saturn come out of retrograde November 15th at 12 degrees of Pisces. Now, this has been dancing, in this Piscean energy for you is dancing over here in your 9th house space. So it's really been a time for you where I think the Saturn in Pisces, first of all, has said, okay, Cancer, you have to stop talking about it. You have to really be about it, right? You have to publish, market, broadcast, travel, put yourself out there, take that class, take that training. But it's not just about doing it. It's also about owning your mastery, believing that you're allowed to have those things in your life, welcoming your own expansion, welcoming that travel, right? Welcoming a whole new way of being and believing in the world, welcoming that next form of advanced education, whether it be from the School of Hard Knocks, it be from a vocation, or it be from a higher education facility. It's also believing that you are allowed to have that. Now, something you can do here, Cancer, is look back into your life into March 23rd and what kind of themes started to present themselves around publishing, marketing, broadcasting, something online, a training maybe that you wanted to take, international languages, business, things like that. Whatever was happening for you, a podcast, what was going on for you then? Because we're going to see that you're in a review time around that right now, and we'll see it fully come all the way to its flourishing when we get to February 18th of 2025. All right, Cancer, I hope you have a gorgeous month. I love you a ton, and I look forward to hearing how the month went from you. So let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in July. Hello, my beautiful Leo friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. We're Leo this month. I love the vibe that's on the table for you, because it's almost this energy that like some dream or hope or aspiration that you've had for yourself, first of all, is starting to make its way to fruition. Not to mention, we're going to have Mars move into the vibration of Taurus into your 10th house. So this is like some hustler energy for you this month, something that you want and you want to push towards. You're going to have the energy to be able to do that, but you're also going to have the support of like a tribe or a group to help you get to a dream that you've been trying to fulfill or something you've been wanting to bring into your life. So I'm actually pretty excited to talk about what this month has to offer you, okay? So first of all, as we are coming into the month on the 1st, we've got Jupiter and Pluto in a trine to one another. And Jupiter has just recently moved into the vibration of Gemini. So this is just like a wonderful dish, because it's lighting up your 11th house space. And this is not just the friends and the social grouping and finding your tribe, which is really important, because sometimes the most rich thing you will do in your life is be aligned with people who are going through and finding solutions to the same things that you are, or people just make you feel like you found your tribe. Like, oh my God, these are my people. That is worth, like, that's priceless, right? But also in the 11th house, we look at your long range hopes, dreams, goals, and aspirations that you have had for yourself. And Jupiter is here expanding those things for you. Pluto is over here in Aquarius in retrograde, no less. So as they come together in this trine, it's like, hold on, somebody that is a conscious, chosen one-on-one relationship connection may be helping this come to fruition. Right? Or maybe you've come into some kind of partnership with someone, you've chosen to work with someone, and that partnership is bringing about a dream or a goal. Now, I want to say it this way too, because it's not just like all magic and you know, the rainbows are happening, but what this can also look like, let's say that you were going through a legal battle, right? You have a conscious chosen one-on-one relationship. That's that 7th house where Pluto in Aquarius is at. But you know who the person is that you're in court with. And maybe you've got a legal battle or a legal case that is coming to a close in some way, and you're able to really take advantage of that particular thing ending. And maybe it's that, you know, the decision is in your favor, or the situation comes out in a way that you would have preferred or is beneficial. So whatever it is, there's some connection to something that you've wanted for yourself, and your partnership zone being able to help this come together. Now, when we get to the 3rd, we're going to see that Mercury moves into the vibration of Gemini as well. So now this is more of that busy Gemini energy. However, Mercury is at home in the vibration of Gemini. So the conversations you need to have, the decisions that you need to make, you are pretty spot on. You're sharp. You're trusting yourself. The decisions and contracts that you're signing, making, whatever it is that you're doing, it's moving forward pretty much without obstacle. And that's something we really want to celebrate. Because then we get to the 6th and we've got a new moon happening at Gemini at 16 degrees, and this one is conjunct Venus and square to Saturn. Now, this particular new moon is you're planting your seeds of intention to begin something new here in what do you dream? What do you want for yourself? What is an ambition or an aspiration that you have for yourself? As well, who are your tribe? Like, who are your friends? Who are the people that you are connected to? And they boost you up. They let you know that who you are really, not behind the mask, none of that, who you are. There's really a place and a space for you. That new moon will help you amplify that. But I also think whomever this partnership is that you're connected to at this particular new moon, this could be some wonderful networking that also helps you move some things forward towards a dream that it is that you do want for yourself, okay? All right, when we get to the 9th, now we need to talk all about Mars, because Mars has been traveling through Aries, fellow fire energy, and Mars has been fire. Mars is like, I like it over here. You know, so things have been going very well for Mars. But now, as Mars gets into the vibration of Taurus, all of these things that you were doing, that you had started, you were physically in action on, and you were getting them going. Now, Mars moving into Taurus energy lights up your 10th house space. So your action that you're going to be exploring now until July 20th is like you have this tremendous fixed energy hustle to get something done, right? To move yourself towards the success that you want, to put your strategy that maybe you created or you were trying out, you're actually putting it into action at this time, because you're like, no, this is the path I want to take, and I can be Taurus, I can be fixed over here and get it done, right? I have the endurance to go the distance with this energy. So around June 9th, all the way until mid-July, I would be looking at, you know, what are you doing in your professional realm? And when I say professional, yes, I mean career. Maybe you're doing something professional like that, but also think 10th house. This is the reputation that we call you in public. Are you changing your name? Have you been working on something? You know, maybe you're getting married and now we're going to know you as a different name in public. Maybe you were working and now you're going into retirement. We're going to know you as a different name, and you are putting high drive on to get that paperwork done, to get out of that building. You know, whatever it is, you've got a lot of energy to help you make that move. Okay, now we're going to switch gears in terms of our energy when we get to the 17th. We're going to see Venus move into the vibration of Cancer, and then we're also going to see Mercury move into the vibration of Cancer. And then just on the 20th, we see the Sun move into Cancer as well. So we start to have a very different experience of the energies. You know, the 12th house in Cancer lights up your hidden space, your place of rest, restoration, where you need to go and you need to restore, you need to let yourself be rejuvenated. You know, it's a very slow, quiet kind of energy. So as we see Cancer season and the solstice begin to come on, it's the time for you where you're going to be, first of all, doing a lot of finishing as well, because the 12th house is also an indicator that some things are finishing. So, you know, what is it that you're going to be finishing up, dear Leo friends? Are you going to be putting to bed a particular project? Are you selling that home? Is there a change in something in your security, right? Like, this used to make me feel really emotionally secure, and now it doesn't make me feel secure at all anymore. And you're able to just bring these things to rest. But whatever it is, having Venus over in this 12th house space really is attracting to you. You don't have to hunt it down. It's coming to you. So if you were wanting to work on something behind the scenes, or you were working, you know, maybe someone from your past is coming back into your life and you're working it out. It doesn't mean that they're going to be there and stay forever, but maybe that's what's going on. It's also a great time for you to vacation, whatever vacation means for you. Okay, if vacation is I'm taking the entire Cancer season off of social media because I can, or I'm just not doing this particular thing, whatever vacation and an opportunity to allow yourself to rest, that is going to be what this season is really, really built beautifully for. Now, on the 21st, we've got a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn, and it is sitting in a T-square to Neptune. So there's already this energy, Leo, that's a little bit like, wait, what's going on? Like, you were hustling and moving something forward and living your best life and feeling really great about it. Maybe you were taking on something in your health and you were feeling really good about it. And now it's like, wait, no, I think I'm doing the right thing, but like, what's going on? You know, something in my daily routine, I felt really good about it, or this work thing, or I was starting to really feel like this project I was working on, or this coworker I was working with, we were really getting there, and now I'm not so sure. Okay, so what I want to tell you is don't worry about it. Now, because this particular full moon is at 1 degree of Capricorn, what it tells us is, first of all, July 21st, we're going to have another full moon in Capricorn at a later degree of Capricorn. So we got to do it again. No matter what, you're going to redo whatever comes to your attention, whatever is showing you need to pivot here on the 21st. Don't stress, because it's not going to stick. But when we get to the full moon on July 21st, that second one, then we can get this whole thing sorted out. And so if you wanted to switch one job and go to another, or you felt like you applied for a job and the interview went so well and you don't understand why you didn't get the call back, wait. July 21st is the better moon. Just remember, you're going to need to do it twice, okay? As we're going to close out this month, Leo, we have got on the 29th Saturn stepping into its retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces, and it will back all the way up to 12 degrees of Pisces and come out of retrograde November 15th. Now, as this has been working for you, it's been going through your 8th house space. So one of the things that this retrograde is going to bring to your attention is detox. Leo, what needs to be let go of? Where do you need to just have faith that you don't need that particular thing? It's okay for it to transition out of your life, to culminate, to detox, to be let go of. You know, this is the 8th house. This can have to do with partnership money, or money coming from another source. Now, the other thing that just keeps getting my attention for you, Leo, is that this is something about a large sum of money or a large investment that you've maybe been thinking about. And yes, it could be a large sum of money, or it's a large sum of a resource that you're like, this is it. I'm ready to do it. I'm going to create a joint resource. There's some kind of intimacy, even if the intimacy is with a bank, with an inheritance, with a settlement, with a partner, with I'm going to finally jump into astrology, with I'm going to have that reproductive surgery, whatever it is. It looks like you're going to be taking on the responsibility for making a really big investment. And the cool part is you'll see it come to fruition fully when we get to February 18th of 2025. Now, one of the things for looking back to see what exactly is this, let's pinpoint it in your own life, is to go back to March 23rd of this year, because this is where Saturn first got to 12 degrees of Pisces. So it would have entered into pre-retrograde shadow time. So what was starting to come up for you at that time? Because that is what you are going to be working on and refining in this 8th house area. Okay, my beautiful Leos, I love you a ton. I hope that as Cancer season rolls in, you give yourself permission to do that 12th house work, wrap up your year, see how you did this last year, rest, rejuvenate, take your relaxation where you can, do your spiritual checklist to see how you've grown spiritually this year, and get ready for birthday time, because as we all know, as soon as Gemini season gets close to an end, we're going to start hearing about the Leos getting ready to roll in a whole 4 weeks from then. I love you, Leos. I'll see you next month. My beautiful Virgo friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024, where Virgo this month, you've got a fair amount of energy, especially in the first half of the month, rolling through your career sector. And it's actually really beautiful because at the beginning of the month, just bursting through on the first, you maybe will feel the energy to the second, to the third. We've got Jupiter and Pluto in a trine to one another. And as these two are coming into this trine, with Jupiter having recently moved into Gemini, what happens is, something that you've been working on and you've been wanting to maybe expand, or you've been wanting to expand the way people know your name in public in some way, has a real opportunity to do just that. It's like you have some power, you have some influence, and it usually is going to be from a project you were working on previously. And this comes from Pluto being not only in the vibration of Aquarius, but because it's retrograde. So it's literally going back to something that you were working on before, and now it's like, oh, your name is starting to be known. Now, the other thing I was thinking about for you, Virgo, is that, because I know, listen, I'm a Virgo rising, I get it, we can be a bit picky about some energy that we're working on. You could be going back to something that has been like a project you've been working on, or even a thought process, and you're like, that's not really important to me anymore. So you're actually reworking it. And it's like you're getting in alignment with who and what you would actually want it to be. Now, as we get to the 6th of the month, we're also going to see that we've got a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini. This particular moon is also going to be in a conjunction with Venus, square to Saturn. Just on the 3rd, we had Mercury move into Gemini as well. So this Gemini energy is really well expanded, but I think that Jupiter's influence here is helping you see, or helping you be taught, Virgo, that there's a different way you'd like to get something done. You know what I mean? So one of the things that it seems like to me is, it's like, okay, in your career or in the direction you'd like to go with having your reputation, your soul level calling, your name known in public, this new moon may be an opportunity for you where it's energizing you and you're going, oh, I need to pivot. And you can, right? The opportunity is absolutely here. So plant your seeds of intention to call to you what you want, be clear about it. But then the Saturn square here, Virgo, also lets us know that, okay, yeah, you can have whatever you want in terms of this career energy, in terms of your name, how you'd like to be known in public, but you do have to work for it. And you do have to demonstrate a fair amount of discipline. But this is a wonderful month in the first half anyways to really be about that. Now, when we get to the 9th of the month, we're going to see Mars move into the vibration of Taurus. Now, Mars has been over in Aries, just living his best life. Okay, things have been going. And now, though, as it moves into Taurus, all of these actions you were taking to start things, to initiate something, even if it didn't fully get done, now as Mars moves into Taurus, it's really going to bring some steady. to your actions and to what you're doing and you're trying to take on, right? It's like before you just needed to get it started, and now you can kind of smooth it out and make sure there's a step-by-step plan. Now, the other thing that I think about when I'm looking at Taurus in this 9th house space for you is, what do you need to be doing, or what kind of conversations need to be happening in your life that have to do with your relationships and your relationship to money, budgeting, long-term planning. It's like you're really expanded here, but you need to take like a bigger look at how you're going about this. You know, what are you going to be doing to pay off debt? Is there a shared resource that you're going to be investing in some way? Whatever it is, we have this opportunity here with Mars all the way until July 20th for you to have a bigger picture mind frame about it, right? So we had Mars in that 8th house, bringing that, okay, do I need to take out a loan in order to start this business, start this podcast, take this trip, work on immigration things, to publish something, right? And now as Mars is traveling through that Taurus energy, you're going to be able to make it stable and to make it happen. Now, the 17th is a bit busy because we're first of all going to be switching energy, but also we've got several planets doing it very quickly back to back. So on the 17th, we've got Venus moving into the vibration of Cancer, then we've got Mercury moving into Cancer, and just there on the 20th, we've got the Sun moving into Cancer. So as we're coming to this second half of the month, we really change energy from this busy, Gemini, moving comfortable Mercury kind of energy. And we're moving more into the space of Cancerian territory where it's about family, it's about the emotional security, it's about nurturing and these kinds of energies. And this is going to be lighting up for you, Virgo, your 11th house. So really this idea that you're nurturing and you're tending to your friends, to your social grouping, to your social spaces, this is really what's going to start to set the tone. So we're moving more from that career and starting to tip over into the social spaces. Now, this could have just as much to do with your career as well, because we know that we're in the digital revolution. So how does technology play into the next role that you're building for yourself? Do you have a technology piece and plan and a social media plan as a part of your business? Or if you were wanting to write a book, share your story, are you connected? Because anymore, it's like publishers, marketers, things like that, they want you to have some kind of established social proof and social presence. So these could be things that you are working on. But in other ways, it could just also be the season where you are busy with friends. June 21st, we're going to be bringing in on the 20th that solstice energy. So we're also bringing in a new season. And sometimes a new season also brings in new friends to our spaces. Now, on the 21st, we've got a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn. This is going to be square to Neptune. Now, the thing to know about this, Virgo, is first of all, this T-square to Neptune that's happening makes it so that this particular moon is a little bit confusing, right? You're like, wait, I am not exactly clear. And this is interesting because it's in your 5th house. So of romance, pleasure, play, children, desire, things like that are here in this 5th house space. So what's coming up for you? Maybe you're like, whoa, no, I feel good about this. I'm energized about this particular area, sharing and expressing myself, but I'm not exactly clear. Like I'm trying to make it happen, but it's not clear. Should I break up? Is this relationship ending? I don't know. I'm not clear. And I want to just say, hang tight. Okay. It's not very often at a full moon I'm going to tell you to just hang tight. But with this one, we're actually going to get another back-to-back full moon. So we're going to have another full moon at the later degrees of Capricorn, July 21st, which tells me and tells you, it's our signature, right? That we're going to do this area twice. Right now, as you're doing it, it's just a pivot. You just need to pivot just a little bit. A small pivot, a different perspective will probably do the trick for you to start getting a different view of your situation, or, changing things with your children, changing things around fertility. But you may not have the solid answers until we get to that July 21st full moon that's also going to be at later degrees of Capricorn. So just leave room to do it twice, okay? On the 29th, as we're going to close out this month, we've got Saturn going retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces, and it will come out of retrograde at 12 degrees of Pisces when we get to November 15th. Now, this Saturn has been traveling in Pisces in your 7th house, so there's been a lot of maturing around relationships, which is like, it's not just relationships, but it is also about partnerships in general. What does it mean to have a true partnership with another human being or a true partnership with another resource? This has been work. And not to mention, has it been work or has it been bringing to your attention? It's been maturing you in a way where, one, you have to stop talking about being more mature in your relationships and your partnerships, or really seriously taking on, a partnership in terms of a contracting with a business partner in some way, right? But now you're having to take it on and stop talking about it and be about it, but also believe that you can have it and believe that you can participate in a way that demonstrates your mastery and your growth. It's like, you're big kidding up here, and it's really, really lovely. So any of the times that you're looking back over this Saturn retrograde and how it's going to bring these changes into your life, I would encourage you to go back to March 23rd of this year and look at what started to come into your life, into your relationships, maybe a contract, a job opportunity, a partnership opportunity, to include new partnership and understanding with yourself and whatever you call a higher power, okay? Because at 12 degrees of Pisces, we would have started this story, and we will fully, completely end the Saturn cycle and the retrograde story when we get to February 18th of 2025. Okay, beautiful Virgo friends, I hope that you have an absolutely gorgeous June. Please let me know in the comment section down below. It looks like you're going to have a really energized social life, so let me know what you're getting into this month, and I will see you in July. Bye, Virgo. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Libra friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024, where Libra, this month, it's actually really beautiful. Your ability to expand or to take your learning or yourself to a higher, more expansive level in terms of publishing, marketing, broadcasting, maybe some training in higher education or academics, something like that, something having to do with an expansion of something legal or travel is really beautiful, especially as we start this month and we've got all of this Gemini energy rocking and working around. And then in the second half of the month, we've got this awesome opportunity for your career or your name in public, your reputation to be expanding in some way, Libra. So we really want to jump in and take advantage of what the month has to offer. So starting out right here at the beginning of the month, we've got on the 1st, Jupiter and Pluto coming into a trine with one another. And you may feel this energy really traveling with you until about the 3rd of the month, but then we're not going to see it again until we get to 2028. So you want to think about where you're putting your emphasis and your power of impact here, right? With this Jupiter and Gemini energy, what is it that you are wanting to do to, expand yourself out? Are you exploring a different kind of philosophy or religion in your life? Are you making plans for immigration or international travel? You want to write a book? You want to do a podcast? What is it that you're doing? Because whatever you're doing, you have a lot of emphasis and a lot of energy that you can use in the beginning part of the month. And more than that, with Pluto being retrograde at the time that this connection is coming up, I think that there is something about it that really lets you know or lets you remember that your voice is worth it, right? Like your power to express your joy, your ability to have your self-expression and some fun and some ease about all of it come. It's like you remember that this is valuable in the world to come. Maybe the things you want to talk about today didn't fit in the world pre-2023, or you couldn't see how you were going to make it happen, or the needed funds were not there for you to go to school or something like that. And under this particular arrangement, you definitely have the wind in your sails and at your back. Now, when we get to the 3rd, we see Mercury move into Gemini. And on the 6th, we're going to see that we've got a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini, in addition to this Jupiter being in Gemini as well. So lots and lots of ninth house energy. So what I want to tell you is, don't sleep on this energy. Take advantage of it. Until we get to June 17th, you've got a fully loaded kind of ninth house energy. So whatever it is that you want to publish, market, or broadcast, put yourself out there in some way. I would really encourage you in this first half of the month to get busy doing it. Okay. Now this new moon, you're going to plant your seeds of intention at that 16 degrees of Gemini. And because it's conjunct Venus, it's really going to come to you a bit more easily. Just call it in and remember your vibe attracts your tribe. So what you're talking about, right? What are you talking about? What information are you sharing? What are you learning? Because if you tell the truth there or do it the way you really want to do it, the right people and the right resources are going to come to you. But when the resources get to you, that's where this square to Saturn kicks in, and you have to work for it. You're going to have to work for what you have. You're going to have to demonstrate some discipline. You're going to need to put some distractions down and focus into getting those credentials or getting that TV show off the ground or getting that education going, but you can have it is the point, okay? Now, when we get to the 9th, we're going to see Mars move out of that energy of Aries and move into the vibration of Taurus. So this is going to light up your 8th house space. Now, first and foremost, Mars coming here is really good because it's going to put action. It's going to put the strength of action and focus and energy into this area of your chart. So if you needed to pay down debt, if something needed to change in your partner's income or something like that, or you've got something to do with an inheritance or insurance, anything having to do with astrology, you might be becoming more connected to it. And I love all of that. And absolutely everything connected to deep, deep healing and psychological work is great here as well. But Mars is also Mars, okay? So I do think you want to pay a little bit of attention, Libra, that from now all the way going to July 20th, while Mars is traveling here, you could get a little bit more information about conflict in this particular area. Maybe you didn't think something was going to be changing in your partner's money and now it is changing. Or you find out that you got this great inheritance, but you forgot to pay taxes on it, or there's a larger sum of money or an expense or something. And you'll have the energy with Mars there to figure out a plan. And it's in Taurus, so you'll figure out a step-by-step plan on how to handle it. But Mars is still Mars. And so where Mars goes, there's a little conflict that could definitely come to the table as well. Now, on the 17th of the month, the whole vibe changes because we've got Venus moving into Cancer. We've got Mercury moving into Cancer. Then we get to the 20th and we've got the sun now in Cancer and we are changing into the solstice. So we've got a whole new season that comes to the table at this time. Now, the nice part is it really lights up, Libra, all of these things in your professional world, or not just professional, because you may be retired, you may be unemployed, but the reputation or the name that we call you in public. So I want you to think pretty broad about this, because this is the change of the season where you kind of get a nice spotlight to this particular area, okay? So first and foremost, one of the things you can do with that, with Venus being here, is realize that Venus moving into a career sector can draw something to you. You're magnetic, you're attractive in some way. So maybe there's something that you've been doing, you've been working on at work, and it's starting to get a little bit more attention, or it's bringing you more money. You've been working on a project. You've been maybe getting your wealth plan together, and you're like, oh, I learned to use automation, and now this is how this can work. Or you're starting to realize ways to let money, let opportunity, let professionalism find you and become a really good resource for you, okay? So I love what this season can actually do for you in that Cancerian vibration. And the other thing I love about it is that it is likely quite in alignment with your intuition. But make no doubt that Cancer season is just like you. You're a cardinal energy, so is Cancer. You are starting a plan to create emotional, intuitive, and financial security in your life during this season. Now, on the 21st, we're going to have a full moon that's happening at 1 degree of Capricorn. And this particular full moon also sits in a T-square to Neptune. So the first thing I want to tell you is what is happening at this particular full moon, especially in regards to your home, family, real estate, property, a family member. Maybe you're relocating and moving in some way, something like that. There is a lack of clarity, okay? It's like, whoa, okay, we're doing it. We're getting this transition going, or this is happening for my family. But it's like something's off. You don't have all of the clarity, or there's just a bit of tension that's happening because you're not clear, even though you've been so sure. What I want to tell you at this full moon is you still need to end something, acknowledge something, or pivot and kind of make an adjustment, but don't stress at this moon because this is only the first one. This moon has got a second one coming, and that's going to be July 21st at later degrees of Capricorn. So the signature here, Libra, is that at this moon, you're just gathering the information about what needs to change in the situation, right? It's coming to you. You're making a start. Capricorn is also a cardinal energy, but it's not going to be complete. You're going to have to do this and work on this again. But the second time, by July 21st and that moon, then you can bring things to a solid, less stressful close. So don't freak out, okay? On the 29th, we've got Saturn going retrograde in the vibration of Pisces at 19 degrees. And this is going to light up your 6th house space. So this is a change. It's going to bring a change to your daily routines and schedules, how productive you are, your health and wellness, to include mental health and wellness, things having to do with coworkers, pets, maybe being a caretaker to someone, okay? All of these things, really, since March 23rd, when we saw Saturn get to 12 degrees of Pisces, it moved into pre-retrograde shadow time. And what started to come to your table? What were you learning about here? Did you have doubt? Was there challenge? Were you finding limitation? Were you demonstrating a great deal of needing to pick up responsibility and mastery in this particular area? Because now as Saturn takes its retrograde, all the way until November 15th, you're going to have a chance to just review that stuff. Really, it's like you're going back into the gym and you're making those gains, or you're trimming away the fat of what you've already learned, right? So that we can really see that big, beautiful Piscean muscle that is powerful and sturdy on your frame. That's really a good example. So whatever that was, I want you to just know that as Saturn is taking this retrograde, you have time to figure it out. And change is going to be coming because of the new understanding and maturity that you have in this area. Now, we'll see this full story come to a close February 18th of 2025 when we see Saturn leave its post-retrograde shadow time. So good month on your hands, Libra. Make sure you're definitely checking these transits against your own personal chart, but with the energy that's available in the general, I would really encourage you to take full advantage of it. Do not sleep on the energy you have this month. It's a month where besides Saturn going retrograde, we don't have any of the personal planets in retrograde, so move things forward the best that you can. All right, beautiful Libras, I love you. Have a great month, and I'll see you in July. Hello, my beautiful Scorpios, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. We're Scorpio this month. It's actually really interesting because the one thing that I noticed is how much vulnerability is absolutely up on your table, not just at the beginning of the month with all the 8th house activity through Gemini season, but also through the 9th house. But this is the kind of vulnerability that I think also allows you to have a lot of freedom. So let's talk about that. Right at the beginning of the month, Scorpio, here on the 1st, we have got this gorgeous trine between Jupiter and Pluto. And Pluto is retrograde in the vibration of Aquarius, and Jupiter has recently moved into Gemini. Now, you may feel this energy between the 1st and the 3rd. You know, it's kind of working with you those few days as these two get away from each other. But the thing that seems so long-lasting for me with this particular energy is that the ability for you to expand in some kind of connection or collaboration. Like there's got to be another resource connected to where you have a lot of power and influence. Because Jupiter's in Gemini running through this 8th house space immediately, one of the things I was thinking of is, okay, this is kind of that soft white underbelly. There's something tender, there's something vulnerable and sensitive here, but it's not necessarily bad. Like Scorpio, as we're traveling through the beginning half of this month, you could be losing, letting go of, or shedding something really vulnerable to you, but it brings you peace. It brings you an opening, and this becomes a really massive resource for you to move your life forward. Now, the other thing is that you could just as equally gain something, but it's vulnerable because you're having to do it in connection or collaboration with another resource, whether that be a bank or a person, or right? Like whatever this is, there's really this vibration here that also made me think, okay, what's going on in your life or your home, or maybe something in a relationship that is changing the dynamic? It feels vulnerable, but there is so much power for you in it. So let me know in the conversation down below in the comment section, what is this? It's like a gifted opportunity, honestly, for you to have more resource of power and more freedom. Now, one other thing I want to say about this is that on the 3rd, we see Mercury get into Gemini, where we've already got Jupiter there. The sun's also traveling there. But then on the 6th, we've got a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini. It's conjunct Venus, so pulling something towards you in this 8th house area, but it's square to Saturn. This square to Saturn means that whatever it is, you need to work for it, or you need to have some kind of discipline with what you're changing here. But more than that, with Saturn here, what I am thinking of for you, Scorpio, is what is the investment? Is there an inheritance that's coming to you? Have you been working on something and now there's a settlement that's coming to you? Are you looking to, you've detoxed, you've paid down your debt enough, and now you're taking on some kind of larger financial investment or something like that? There's just this really wholesale connected joint resource kind of investment that's coming to you. Now, for some of you as well, Scorpios, depending on where you're at in your communication journey, very Gemini, maybe you're doing that podcast or you wrote a book or something like that. You could just as much have money coming to you from different income, hopefully not income streams. I hope for you, Scorpio, that you have income rivers coming to you. So, you're getting your royalties, you're getting your affiliate payouts and things like that. But whatever it is, this is pulling and drawing to you with that Venus there, a financial or a resource opportunity for you to really take advantage of, okay? Now, when we get to the 9th of the month, we're going to see your other ruling planet getting some activity, because we're going to see Mars move out of the vibration of Aries, where it's been dancing, living its best life for a while, and move into the vibration of Taurus. So when Mars was dancing in Aries, it was more about getting your poop in a group, right? It was getting you organized. It was looking at how you are being productive or you're not being productive, and where you needed to take some different actions to bring your health, and especially the health of your daily routine, into a different arrangement. But as we get here to the 9th and Mars moves into Taurus, now we're moving from just that daily routine to actually moving into the vibration of relationships and how you can improve relationships around you. If there are relationships in your life that are weak, those cracks are going to show. Mars can be an inflammatory energy. So if there's a problem or a breakdown needs to happen, Mars is happy to have that fight as long as it clears the air, right? Remember, inflammation is just telling us that something is going on, that something is inflamed and it needs treatment. So if you've got a relationship in your life and it's a conscious chosen one-on-one relationship, whether that be Scorpio with you, with a loved one, a partner that you've chosen to be with, a business partner, the relationship with you and a higher power. If there is inflammation, Mars is going to let you know that it needs treatment. But it needs treatment because it wants this area of your chart to act like a Taurus. It wants long-term solution. It wants long-term relationships. It wants long-term, steady relationships that can be a resource in your life. So there is this major trend as we get from the 9th going all the way until July 20th, Scorpio, of change in your relationship that actually turns that relationship into a better partnership, turns it into a stronger resource into your life as well. Now, I do love it because Mars certainly brings enough energy that it's like whatever you need to go through, you're probably going to be willing to go through it. I want to say this too. Because this is the 7th house, for some of you, this burst of Mars inflammation energy could be that you finally have the courage to, ask that person to marry you. You finally have the courage to tell that person you want a divorce, right? Like there's a lot of courage that also comes as long as the changes you want to make, you're looking to make them have long-term steady impact into your life. I think that Mars here is really going to be a helper. Now, when we get to the 17th of the month, we change the whole vibe. Like the whole vibe of the month, Scorpio, gets really different. So first of all, we're going to have Venus move into Cancer. Then we'll have Mercury move into Cancer. Then on the 20th, we have the Sun move into Cancer. Okay, so we start to light up this very Cancerian area of your chart. Now, this is about your 9th house. And this house, I think, first of all, let's acknowledge that we're at a solstice. So really, truly, Scorpio, we're bringing in a whole new season. This is a new season of life. This is new perspective for you. Okay, but it's 9th house, publishing, marketing, broadcasting, expanding yourself out, higher education, all of these concepts that allow you to become a little bit bigger, a little bit beyond your own horizon. But Scorpio, that's incredibly vulnerable. There's a vulnerability, I think, that is coming with this as well, like I was saying in the beginning of the reading, because you have to be seen. You get to really not only step into your power, right? And that is huge, and that is big, and that is beautiful. And I think that you are incredibly invigorated at this point of the month to start to do that. But it comes with a fair amount of vulnerability as well, because now you're going to be seen. People are going to say, do you really know what you're doing? Do you really know what you're talking about? Can I really finish this degree? Can I really do this? Can I really have this? So it's this mix between that empowerment and also the vulnerability, I think, a little bit of the question. What I want to say to you is that especially, Venus coming into this space is that, first of all, you can attract it to you, and then use Mercury and the Sun to be motivated to finish, to move forward with whatever is calling to you. Now, the 9th house also has to do with things like international travel and language and things like that. So, maybe you were applying for a language university, or you're applying for a visa or something like that, and you're going to get information back with Venus and all of these personal planets moving here that like, yeah, okay, cool, you can do it, you got it, or, whatever's happening with it, you get the information. The other thing I was thinking about is that this could also be in this next, moving through July. I would really push this until August a little bit, Scorpio, where you're finishing something in this 9th house arena. You've been trying to get your YouTube channel started for a while, and now you're going to finally pull it together by the time we get to the fall and get it up and running. Or you've been working on an advanced degree in some way, and now you're going to get ready to finish it and get it up and moving. Okay. The other thing is faith. Whatever's changed in your relationship dynamic in this first half of the month, whatever you had to detox, shed, or let go, or deal with, at this point, it leaves you. When a relationship changes in our lives, it takes us to a new belief structure. We believe something different about the world, and you have the opportunity to step into that vulnerability, that phoenix energy, and just be beautifully expanded. Okay, when we get to the 21st, we're going to have a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn, and this particular full moon has got a couple things going for it. First of all, it's square in a T-square to Neptune, so there's a lack of clarity about something. You've been feeling good about it, right? You're like, no, hold on a minute. I was really thinking I was ready to go, especially in an intellectual way, something you've been learning, teaching, studying, discussing, writing, communicating about in some way, maybe something with your siblings, and you've been feeling like, boom, it's on track, I've got this, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, hold on. I am not sure what's going on. Or neighbors, maybe something goes on with the neighbors and you're like, what is happening? Why are we freaking out here? So what I want to tell you is you do still need to full moon and acknowledge or pivot, make an adjustment, but you're likely, this is just it. You're just in the first beginning stages of this, because we're going to get another moon July 21st. It's going to be at a later degree of Capricorn, where you will have so much more information, so much more clarity available to you to actually make an appropriate pivot. So I want to tell you, Scorpio, don't freak out at this moon if it's not going the way you think it would, if there's some tension, or if you do something and then we get to the 21st and you have to do it again. That is totally on par for this particular energy. Now, Scorpios, we're going to close out the month. We see Saturn moving into its retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces, okay? So this particular retrograde, first of all, we want to pattern track back, go back to what started to come into your life and into your consciousness March 23rd of this year. Now, this has been things that have been happening around pleasure, play, children, self-expression, hobbies, conception of things, whether it's conception of children and people, adoptions, or businesses, right? It's a really creative, take a risk, loving kind of area of your chart, this fifth house. So what started to come up for you as we were traveling around March 23rd, when we saw Saturn get to 12 degrees of Pisces and enter into this pre-retrograde shadow time? So one of the things is there's a lot of maturity. There's been a lot of maturity coming to the table, where you had to stop talking about being mature and actually having a childlike belief and faith that you can have these things and that you deserve these things into your life, that you deserve peace in your life. And you have to start behaving and accepting and pulling it in, right? There's also Pisces, there's a fair amount of surrender in what is going on. There's a lot of surrender. And, if you have children or you have, loves of your life, that it's not always a straight line. We have to practice a fair amount of grace and surrender around these things as well. So all the way until November 15th, when we see Saturn come back out of its retrograde and come station direct, what you've got an opportunity to do here is really to understand where you need to hold, where you need to fold, that you are worth and worthy, and you get to have peace, you get to have love, you get to have value. It is not all the hustle, hustle, hustle. It's not all internal emotional tension, but there also has to be your part where you stay easy, you stay light, you wear the world as often as possible as this loose garment, so that you're able to demonstrate the mastery of ebb and flow, of take and surrender as well, okay? All right, my beautiful Scorpios, please let me know what's finishing for you, because it looks like there's a lot that could be in conclusion, or you're bringing things to an end in order to have this bigger, fresher start on the other side. So just let me know how the month's going for you. I love you, and I'll see you next month. My beautiful Sagittarian friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. We're Sagittarius. You're taking it to the next level this month. I love it. We had Jupiter move into the vibration of Gemini for the first time in 12 years. This lights up your relationship zone. And the first half of the month is all about relationships. It's really about where you are consciously choosing to make contracts with people, and you want to do it for a longer term kind of thing. And the longer term, I'm serious about this, I really want to take this on for the long haul, shows up in the second half of the month. So I'm excited. Let's jump in here and let's talk about what the month has to offer you. Right at the beginning of the month on the 1st, and you really may feel the energy until about the 3rd, but we've got Jupiter in a trine to Pluto. Now, first of all, Jupiter is your ruling planet. So where the ruling planet is, you're getting a little bit of a vibe, right? Jupiter is traveling through your partnership sector, and it's making this trine to Pluto, who's in Aquarius, but not just in Aquarius, but retrograde. So it's saying that something that has already been on your mind, or something that you're like, in my life and in the world that is to come in front of me in the future, this is something I want to talk about. I want to engage, right? Because Aquarius lives over in your third house. So we know that there's some kind of conversation that is coming to your table as we engage this particular trine. Now, the thing to remember about it is that, first of all, as we engage this energy, it has a lot of power for you to expand, but it has also got a lot of influence into your life. So whatever the decisions are, that kind of get sealed in these days, or you're like, this is it. This month I'm doing it. I'm taking on this contract. I'm going to take a business assistant. I'm getting a VA. I'm going to ask that person to marry me. I'm taking a personal trainer, whatever it is really about harnessing this energy for a longer term. Now, we're not going to see Jupiter and Pluto come into this kind of arrangement with each other again until 2028. So you're making a pretty big investment, and you've got Jupiter traveling through Gemini, working on this relationship space for you all the way until 2025. So we've got some good investment into this vibration. Now, this is not all in the seventh house action that we've got, because we've also got the sun continuing to travel through Gemini. On the 3rd, Mercury comes into Gemini, into its home energy, so it's very comfortable. And then on the 6th, we've got a new moon happening in Gemini as well. Venus is over in Gemini, okay? So we've got this new moon happening, though, on the 16th. On the 6th at 16 degrees of Gemini, and it is conjunct this Venus energy. So first of all, we know at this new moon, in terms of partnerships, something is magnetized. It's being pulled in. Venus is an attracting in energy. It does not hustle for anything, okay? So it is attracting something to you. Now, whatever it attracts to you, though, does sit in square to this Saturn. So it means, like, yes, it's coming right to you. But in order to have it or to keep it, you have to commit. There's going to be some long-term investment in whatever you do, because that's the nature of this Saturnian energy. So what is it in your relationship zone, Sagittarius, that you are committing to, right? And I think it's very easy to say we're going to just be committing to getting married. And I love that. If that's you, you're committing to getting married. Some people will also be committing to get divorced, okay? But other people, there are other kind of commitments in your 7th house, your conscious, chosen one-on-one relationships that you can be making. And one of them is a real new connection with yourself, right? With you and you make a conscious, chosen dedication to work with yourself, to work with whatever you call a higher power. In the 7th house, sometimes I like to put the body as well. Are you in a healthy relationship with your body? How is your health in terms of you having that sense of connection that maybe you've been craving to the depth of your own body? Whatever it is, this new moon, we've got lots of players on the table helping magnetize this area for you, okay? So it's all really in hand. Now, on the 9th, we see Mars leaving this energy of Aries and moving into the vibration of Taurus. And this is going to light up your 6th house. So this is great too. I'm telling you, if you needed to do something to change your health, this is the month, because maybe when we were traveling in May, we had Mars in Aries, and it's putting a little bit more chutzpah into the play zone, and it's exciting, and there's joy, there's pleasure we're taking in, there's sexual chemistry. I love all that, right? There's a little bit more going on, which may have been great if you were looking to start a business, start a family, start a fitness routine, something like that. But as we see Mars get into Taurus, and now we start to come into a slower energy, it's much more practical, it's much more detail-oriented. It's going to be about setting long-term daily routines, schedules, health practices up for you so that you really can be invigorated and as healthy as you can be. Again, though, Taurus is a Venus-ruled energy, so it's trying to pull a routine to you. It's trying to pull, wellness with your coworkers. It's trying to pull business projects to you. It's not trying to hustle for it. It wants to build something steady and sturdy that can be a resource for you long-term here. So again, if you're looking at making any kind of I almost said improvations. That is not even a word. If you were trying to make any kind of improvements to your health or your daily routine that will really be of long-term benefit to your joy, to your ease, to beauty in your life, this is the season to do that. Now, the one thing I will tell you is that Mars is Mars. We have to remember that Mars is Mars. So Mars can bring inflammation where it goes. If you've got a daily routine in your life, or you've got a work thing going in your life that is not it, Mars will inflame that. And inflammation always is just a signal that something needs treatment. It doesn't feel good necessarily because it's conflict. It's hot, it's swollen, I feel under pressure. Mars likes to put pressure in the head because it will get your attention and get you moving, right? So if you've got something going that is too stressful, or it is not significantly going to work for you long term, one of the things you can see is that you may start to feel a little bit of burnout, maybe a lot of burnout. You might be feeling a lot of burnout coming on. You may need to have a conflict with that coworker to clear the air. I don't always recommend that. You may find more inflammation in your body because your body is telling you, I don't like this daily routine. I am suffering. And whatever it is, the inflammation will get you to pivot and turn down a different path. And it's a path that allows you to have more ease, right? Listen, when Mars puts that kind of inflammation on you, you don't want it. It's not comfortable. So the changes you need to make here, Mars can also help to do that. But then it gives you the energy, though, to make the changes. So really great if you needed to do some weight loss or weight gain, okay? On the 17th, we change the whole vibe of the month. The whole vibe changes because we have Venus move into Cancer, we have Mercury move into Cancer, and then on the 20th, we have the Sun move into Cancer. So now we have shifted gears, okay? And now we're in the space of this 8th house. So you're motivated with this 8th house energy to, first of all, understand that some things need to go. This really is an energy of detox. It's detox. Let it go. You don't need it to be here anymore. But remember, Venus is also an attracting an energy. So in the 8th house of intimacy and assets, and it's shared assets and resources, you know, Venus could be pulling not only financial opportunity to you, which is fantastic. You know, you're like, listen, I cannot work this job anymore. I am willing to start my own company because I can't work under that kind of stress. And you do. And now you're starting to get some clients. They're coming in. That marketing you put out, those videos that you made, they're starting to get a little bit of traction, right? They can just be like this real, it starts to happen. But the other thing to know about it is that Venus, Mercury, and the Sun here being so motivated to help you are not just about the resource of financial benefit, but it's also energetic benefit. I mean, I'm telling you, Sagittarius, what is not working for you, from weight to stress to debt to trauma to old secrets to just things in your house, you are going to be like, I have to let this go because I can't. Sagittarius, you cannot stand the anxiety of it. You cannot survive it. You're a mutable energy. So I love it because it's like such a nice expansion for you when you start to let it go. Now, the other side of the 8th house that I really like to explore as a business person, so I want to put this out here for you, is to really look at where you are going to build your, not streams. I don't want you building streams, Sagittarius. I want you building rivers, income rivers, so that you are starting to be more definitive about how money can find you. What are your different avenues you have for money to find you, so that financially you have this connection and collaboration, this shared resource of the 8th house, where you've got lots of rivers coming to you and you can be financially and energetically set, okay? On the 21st, we've got a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn, and this is a double take. Whatever you are doing, however you're going to pivot at this particular moon, I want you to know you're going to do it again. So you're just at the beginning. I don't want you to freak out, Sagittarius, because at this particular moon, it's like you're trying to do something, you're trying to get something off the ground, you know, and it's like just not working. It's in your money. You're like, Stormie, I am over here trying to build my income rivers, and this thing is like an income trickle. Yes, absolutely. But I don't want you to freak out at this moon, Sagittarius, because there's like a lack of clarity. Something is like just not there. And if you try and push and force, that's not going to make you get it. It's not going to make you get it, okay? So what you need to know is this one, you may be starting to build your income river. You may be starting to build your depth of relationship, your commitment. We're going to get married. We're trying to make these plans, right? But it's just not quite there. You will be so much more solid by the time we get to July 21st. So be easy. Take the steps that you can, release and pivot where you can at this particular full moon. And if it's not 100% clear, be like, listen, I'll be coming back to review this in just a couple weeks. I don't need to stress, okay? As we're going to close out this month, Sagittarius, after you've made these commitments, you've done this shedding, you're going to the next level with things. We've got Saturn taking its retrograde in the vibration of Pisces. Now it's going to go retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces, okay? So Sagittarius, this has been working on your fourth house, home, family, real estate, property, these kinds of homebound things, maybe even where you're living. And so as Saturn's been traveling here, it's been like, you have to stop talking about it and you have to be about it. You need to make a decision, commit in some way, commit emotionally. Pisces is a water energy, right? Like commit, you have to commit. You have to go to the next level with whatever it is. But I would encourage you, Sagittarius, to go back into your life into March 23rd of this year, 2024, when this is where Saturn entered into its pre-retrograde shadow time at 12 degrees of Pisces. So what started to come to your attention about things shifting at home or your family, maybe things with real estate? Did something happen with your parents, your ancestry? There is, over this next coming months between now June 29th and November 15th, a change to your home that is going to make something more committed, more steady, more solid. But in the retrograde, you're reorienting, re-editing, revising, reevaluating what it is here so that you can actually make the changes. And then the changes will be solidified in by the time we get to February 18th of 2025. All right, my beautiful Sagittarian friends, please let me know in the comment section down below, what are you taking to the next level? What is this change in the relationship status and things like that that are happening for you? I'm so curious. So let me know in the comment section down below. I love you, and I'll see you in July. My beautiful Capricorn friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. We're Capricorn this month, especially in the first half of the month. I think I have some good news, at least in the general, especially around things like work or things that you do to bring income into your life. But they're like, I'm thinking more along your passive income streams or projects or something like that. It's like you do the work or you provide the space or something like that. And then you have an opportunity to receive an income from there. So especially anything that you are doing a bit more independently. So either way, I think Capricorn, the first half of the month has a lot that we can offer around work, things at work, your health, your daily routine, and there's a fair amount of sweetness that comes with it, okay? And then when we get to the second half of the month, we are going to transition our energy into the Cancerian vibration and start to work on these relationships. So let's get in here, Capricorn, and talk about what June has to offer. First and foremost, at the beginning of the month, we've got Jupiter getting ready to do its first full month in the energy of Gemini, and this is lighting up your sixth house space. So one of the things to know is just in general, especially the first half of the month, is that it could be busier. There's a lot going on. It gets very Gemini. You know, there's a lot of information going on. There's lots of conversation happening. And in these first 3 days of June, one of the things I want to tell you is there's a lot of power. There's a lot of impact that is available in your chart, especially having to do with things with your money or decisions that you are making in your money zone. So if you're signing a new contract or you're putting out applications or you're hearing back or putting out resumes and applications or you're hearing back from someplace that you submitted a resume or maybe you submitted a proposal for a project down to, right? You know, was there something going on in a way that you were making money at work and you needed to go to the HR and say, hey, this is something that's going on in the office. This is not working out, right? Whatever it is, there's a lot of improvement or a sweetness available here that has a long-term influence into your life. So the reason I think that I particularly like this as well is because I want to tell you with Jupiter, Jupiter provides an opportunity, but you typically need to go to it. So if there are opportunities for work, or there's like a season change or a direction change or something like that in your work, allow yourself to be surprised and delighted and go with it. Go take on the opportunity, okay? Now we're going to have Mercury on the 3rd move into the energy of Gemini. On the 6th, we've got a new moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini, conjunct Venus, and then square to Saturn. So it really is this omen that is saying, hey, there is an opportunity here. Plant your seeds of intention to begin something new here, but also you'll be doing it like a Gemini, right? You haven't heard anything back about this promotion, about this job. Maybe you're a freelance person and you put out some work and you want to do your own independent projects, and you've like heard nothing. And all of a sudden you're hearing back from everyone at the same time over this next weeks. And then you're so busy that you don't exactly know how to balance your daily routine or your health or your wellness. Your mind's a little bit busy. You're like, oh, should I do this? Should I do this? Right? It can be very, very busy. So I do want to remind you, Capricorn, that while you're going to plant your seeds of intention to have something come to you, to have this opportunity, take it on, you have to remember that Saturn is involved here. So it's showing you that you have limitations. You are not going to be able to take on every project. You are not going to be able to do everything. So really be distraction free. Remove distractions from you. Which are the ones that you really want to take on because you're willing to learn long term about how to do this job, how to have this project, something like that. Now, the 6th house also having to do with health and wellness. This is a great energy too. If you needed to take on a different health or wellness approach in your life, this is a great energy to be able to improve that. I also like to put small pets in the 6th house. So if you had something going on with pets, I know that there are a couple of you who have shared with me that there are surgeries coming up for pets and things like that. This is a great month for that because Mars is not in its retrograde cycle just yet. So if any of that is coming up for you, that definitely falls into this 6th house energy, and it will be busy, okay? When we get to the 9th, we see Mars moving into the vibration of Taurus after having been doing this wonderful traveling in its home energy of Aries. And this was a lot of being really, really energized around home, family, real estate, property as Mars was traveling through Aries. So there was a lot going on in the domestic zone, home, family, real estate, property. Remember, you were moving, redoing something at home or something like that, right? And now all of those things that you were doing, as Mars gets into this vibration of Taurus, first of all, the energy slows down all the way until July 20th. And the things that you need to do that need step-by-step instructions to make them happen are going to have a lot more energy put to them. You're going to be able to build something solid. Now, one of the things I think of, because this is Mars moving from that 4th house into this 5th house energy, is love, romance, pleasure, play, things, Capricorn, happening for your children, the conception of something, right? Mars moving here is bringing action. It is a really magnetic, attracting kind of energy, but it also means there is a lot happening. Are you having a lot of sleepovers, right? Is this, we're moving towards the solstice time. Children are getting out of school. Are you hosting the best summer sleepover ever? Is there something going on where you are, you're taking on a hobby? It's time for the summer hobbies for the kids. Are you single and you're like, listen, I'm trying to start this season out living my best life. So you're going out in the world, you've got your sexy chemistry all together, attracting in some energy. There's a wonderful, lovely, creative, childlike vibration here. I do think that Mars in Taurus as well can be great if you are looking for adoption, pregnancy, something like that. This can be actually really helpful in helping you to get that together. Now, the thing I do need to say is from June 9th going all the way until July 20th, Mars is still Mars. So where Mars goes, it can also naturally bring inflammation, okay? And for Taurus, you have to be mindful that the inflammation can just flat out be in the body. Okay, so if you are feeling inflamed in your body, you're bloated, you're dehydrated, you've got these things going on, it's going to zap your energy and make you more grouchy, more easily ready to snap at people, places, and things. Okay, if you're one of our friends who, maybe you are pregnant, you're a little bit more swollen, you're a little bit more bloated. So first of all, remember to hydrate, okay, and eat hydrating foods. But the other thing is, in situations with your children, concepts around your children, around romance, something you want to take a risk on, if there is a crack or there's something that needs to be flushed out, Mars is going to let you have that fight. You're going to have that fight, and it's the fight to clear the air, okay? But the other things is that the inflammation of Mars is just saying this needs attention. So it may also be giving you the courage to finally step into that sports, bring out your creativity, focus on your hobby, and things like that. It's actually a really sweet energy. But just remember, if there's inflammation, it's telling you this needs attention. Go ahead and get in there. Don't go wild. Get in there and bring some solution to the table, okay? Now, when we get to the 17th, the energy changes. The whole energy changes. We're going to have Venus move into Cancer. Mercury moves into Cancer. On the 20th, the Sun moves into Cancer. So we're bringing in the solstice. We're bringing in a whole new season. And Cancer, just like you, is a cardinal energy. So this is, again, a starting. You're making a fresh start here, Capricorn, into a new season of your life. But Cancer is also your opposite. So this is going to bring a lot of attention to the month now into relationships, conscious, chosen one-on-one relationships. These are not the relationships where it's like, I met you and we're kind of dating. It's a little bit superficial. These are, I choose to be with you, whether you're my business partner, you're my friend, you're my lover, you're my attorney, you're my enemy, right? Whatever it is, I choose to be in relationship with you. So as we have Venus, first of all, moving into this 7th house space, Venus is an attracting energy. So it's really pulling something to and bringing a nice sweetness into this area. So truly in your partnerships, if things have been going on in your connection in some way and you've needed some harmony or you need to put some healing salve into this area, Venus here can be absolutely wonderful for that particular energy. It can really just bring a harmony to the table that I think maybe you've been waiting for. I don't love the wording of this, but in everything I've learned, they say when Venus comes to the 7th house, you can also be pulling in a soulmate. And I don't necessarily love that because I feel like we can take that the wrong way, that it's like you only have one soulmate or that it's a soulmate that has to be sexual. Sometimes the most significant conscious chosen relationship you bring into your life with someone who is a soulmate can actually come in and they're just a friend, but you expand. You know more and understand more about partnership by engaging with this particular energy. So there is quite a sweetness. On a completely different note, in a gentle way, if you had something like an open court case or something like that, this could be that you're getting news that the court case went in your favor, okay? Now, when we get to the 21st, we've got a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn in your sign in a beautiful T-square to Neptune. So first and foremost, we want to know that whatever you take on, whatever you're ending, acknowledging, or adjusting, you need to make a pivot, right? There's a change of direction coming at this full moon. You're going to have to do it twice, because we're going to have another full moon just next month on July 21st in your sign as well, but in a later degree. So the first thing I want to say is don't freak out, or freak out quickly and then don't make any decisions. And then just know there's no true clarity happening here. So you're like, I've been waiting to put myself forward. I'm feeling like this relationship is like the one I can really, I'm on fire. Let's go. I'm ready to step up into this thing, right? Or you're feeling yourself and then something's not working out. You're just not quite able to actualize it, or you feel like you can't really trust the ground beneath you. Don't freak out. Just wait a minute, okay? Take the steps that you can take here and know that you're going to see it again. with a lot more clarity, a lot more trust, a lot more groundedness when we get to July 21st. Okay, so just know right now you're going to have to do it twice. Now, as we're going to close out the month, Capricorn, we're going to have Saturn taking its retrograde in Pisces at 19 degrees, and it's going to go all the way to 12 degrees and come out of retrograde November 15th. So as we're doing this retrograde, this has been lighting up and bringing your attention really to things in your third house space. So intellectual ideas, speaking, learning, things with siblings, the way that you communicate, maybe something that you've been writing or taking on, right? So whatever that has been for you, I'm going to encourage you to go back to March 23rd of 2024, so just this year, and look at what started to come to your attention when Saturn got to 12 degrees of Pisces and entered into the pre-retrograde shadow time. Where were you maybe feeling very Saturnian? You had to have a lot of faith. You had to trust your instincts about something that you were discussing, a decision that you wanted to make, believing that you have a voice and a message that is worth hearing. Like, where was this starting to come up for you? Because during this Saturn retrograde, you're going to be reviewing that. You're reviewing, you're reevaluating, you're making any transitions that you want to be making, okay? All of that's coming up, and we'll see the full cycle brought to a close February 18th of 2025, okay? So you've got time to work on this and to bring your mastery and your maturity. So if you've been writing that book behind the scenes, go ahead and use the Saturn retrograde time to really do it and get in there, all right? Okay, beautiful Capricorns, please let me know in the comment section down below what is happening for you, what is changing for you, especially in this daily routine. I really think that some of you are going to have some changes at work that I hope are to your favor or hope are to your delight. Remember, Mars is still in Aries. It can make us very impulsive, very quick at the mouth. So make sure you don't shoot off your mouth and get fired. All right, Capricorns, have a great month. I love you. I'll see you in July. Hello, my beautiful Aquarian friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. We're Aquarius this month. We start out the month. The energy is about courage and taking a risk, but joy and pleasure, play, things having to do with ease. There's a nice childlike, romantic, sweet energy that is on the table as we're coming into the month, at least in the general. And then we're going to switch gears when we get to the 17th, but I actually think that they go together. When we get to the 17th, we need to start to have a conversation a lot more about your health, your daily routine, these kinds of things. But as we're starting out the month with this sweet, take a risk, be easy, be joyful kind of energy, it plays into the decisions that you're going to make and how you're going to run your daily routines as we get to the second half of the month. So I want to jump in and share all the details with you. Okay, so right at the beginning of the month, the thing we also want to remember here is that you're going to be able to feel these energies of the Jupiter-Pluto trine that's happening here on the 1st from about the 1st to the 3rd. And Pluto is retrograde in your sign right now. So first of all, you are really looking back over yourself. I mean, you're having a massive relook over yourself, Aquarius. Like, pieces of you could honestly be feeling like they are dying off, especially in the areas of your body and your mental and physical health and well-being, where you're like, this is not sustainable anymore. So you're really looking back at it in a pretty remarkable kind of way. But now, as Jupiter is traveling here in this Gemini vibration, it's in your 5th house. So this combination of conversation between Pluto and Jupiter here is influence, it's power in making these massive changes that are available to you. And they're going to have impact into your life all the way until we see these two come back together in 2028. So when I tell you that looking at what do you really love, like what really brings you some ease and some peace and some joy and makes you feel like your heart can express itself. And this may sound very woo-woo, but your health and your mental health and well-being are on the table. So taking a serious look at, how you experience the courage to be ease and to be in your creativity and to express yourself, to love like a childlike love, to have romance and pleasure and play play in your life are really big ticket items for you to be considering. And the decisions that you make to allow these things to be a part of your world and let your world be bursting with some joy and some ease, whatever that is for you, are going to have a serious impact in the years and the months to come, okay? Now, the other thing in the fifth house, besides just romance and joy and pleasure and play, really has a lot to do with children. And in the fifth house, I treat this two ways. One, looking at your children. Of course, what are your children stepping into and where are they going to have an impact this month? You know, are they doing hobbies? Is it time for, is it time for summer sports or schools getting out? So there's just lots of joy, lots of noise going on, and that could be great. What talents or skills do your children have that are bursting forward? But the other way I look at it is you as the child of your parents. Now, in the fourth house, we see your parents, your family, and their impact on you. But your impact in being someone's child comes from the fifth house as well. Where are you coming back to childhood ideas that really they made you burst with joy, right? Where are you coming back to childhood skills or talents? Where are you coming into a space where, as a human being at a different age, you have a different connection and understanding and a courage to see your parents as people and connect with them in that way? This has a huge impact on your mental health and well-being that we're going to see happening throughout the rest of the month as well. Now, on the 3rd, we see Mercury moving into Gemini. On the 6th, we're going to welcome a new moon into Gemini at 16 degrees. And this is going to be conjunct Venus, but it will also be square to Saturn. So the suggestion of this signature here is that, first of all, it's really a lovely, lovely new moon to be planting your seeds of intention. What do you want to begin in terms of creativity, hobbies, self-expression, romance? You know, because it's with Venus here, it's pulling it right to you. So what do you love? What do your children love? What do you want to bring into your life around love and pleasure? You're pulling it in. But the Saturn here also says that what or who you are trying to pull into yourself, you're going to have some discipline and do some work. You're going to have to work at whatever comes to you, but it may be the kind of work that you want, right? When we call a person into our lives because we want to experience romance, you're like, I'm at a place where I want to experience the joy and the pleasure of romance. It's remembering that, yes, it's going to come in. And maybe even it brings in a person that is more serious and can turn into a deeper commitment down the road. But in that deeper commitment, you're going to need to remember why you called in the love and you took a risk on this in the first place, because commitment is commitment. And that is very Saturnian. The other part of this is that Saturn makes you say, listen, you have to believe at this point, Aquarius, that you're allowed to have this. You have got to stop talking about calling love and ease and beauty and a relationship with your children and your parents into your life. You have to stop talking about it and be about it and start to believe it and take actions that demonstrate that you believe you're allowed to really have this lusciousness in your life, okay? Now, when we get to the 9th, we're going to see that Mars moves into the energy of Taurus, out of that fiery Aries energy where it has been living its best life and just powering up all kinds of do it now, say it now, very Aries, let's go after it kind of energy. And now it's moving into Taurus where things are going to slow down a bit. And so it's bringing your attention from all of the thoughts and the ideas and the conversation and the movement to a steady energy into your home, family, real estate, and property zone, your 4th house energy, okay? So let's say that when Mars was in Aries, you were like, I'm going to start taking this class. This is it. I'm doing it. I'm signing up for this class, or I'm going to teach this class. Now, as Mars is in Taurus, it's settled. It's like, okay, you've decided you're in the class now. Now you need to take the entirety of the class, right? It's slow, it's steady, it's grounded, it's enduring, right? Now, the other thing is that with Mars here being in this 4th house space for you, if you needed or wanted to make any changes to your home, you wanted to renovate, innovate, decorate, move, you wanted to buy or invest in real estate, or maybe there's a family member who is moving in or out of your home. Maybe you are, Taurus is a Venusian energy. Maybe it's time for those new season parties to be going on. And you're like, nope, I don't want to go to the bar. I don't want to go to the restaurant. Let's have it at my house, right? There's a lot of pleasure that is available here. Mars is still Mars. And so we need to give Mars the Mars due, is that if there are in your home, family, real estate, or property conflicts, Mars will bring the inflammation needed to bring it out, okay? Now, in a very, very physical way, let's say that in your home or your rental property that you have, something is going on. There is a pipe or there is a structural issue. During this season where Mars travels through Taurus all the way until July 20th, you'll find out that there's a structural issue because Mars is going to bring the conflict to the table. Now, on the other side of that as well, if there is a conflict in your familial relationship that needs to be handled, Mars is going to bring it up, but you'll also have the energy to do it in a skillful kind of way, because you want the endurance of this particular relationship. You want something long-term that can be steady to you here, okay? Now, when we get to the 17th, we have a complete change of vibe on the table. We're going to see Venus moves into Cancer on the 17th, Mercury moves into Cancer, and then on the 20th, we see the Sun move into Cancer, okay? So now the 6th house is lit up. We've got all of this energy going that is about the daily routine, but more than just the daily routine. It's not the work that you do, it's the system that you have that allows you to get the work done that you do. More than that, I think we start to really have a conversation, Aquarius, about your daily routine, about your mental health and wellness, and your health and your wellness in general. Now, first of all, what I want to say is that what I love about Venus coming here is that you get to start to form. You've had all this time with joy, pleasure, and play, right? With all of that lighting up your 5th house energy. And now you're stepping into a place where you're like, what is a daily routine that works for me mentally, that I can love what I do? I can be at ease with what I do. I can have a beautiful daily routine. I can live and move and feed myself in a way, nurture Cancer my way, that if I'm suffering with anxiety or depression, or my body is in a freeze response, where I can bring somatic exercise into my life to release some of this energy. What is the flow? Your real focus is going to be in, what do I need to do to take care of myself in a daily way? My health, my mental health and wellness, right? Venus here is attracting a solution to you. Venus is calling it in. It's literally calling in ease and nurturing, whether that be from people. It brings in a practitioner. It brings in, at home, you're setting up a different daily routine in your life that allows you to be successful with some ease and nurturing. Now, the other side of this 6th house energy is that really, truly in your work, some of you out there are freelancers, you own companies, you're looking for a job. This is a wonderful energy where opportunities can be pulling into you, and they're quite sweet. Okay, so they're going to have this Venusian tint to them, and Mercury is going to help you have the conversations you need to have to bring it into your life. So it really can be a second half of the month that is quite successful around work as well. And I just want to throw this in there. If the work you do is that you are a caretaker, or your home is becoming the place where you're going to become a caretaker of a pet that is sick or ill or has had surgery, or a parent or something like that, where you're going to be in the height of your home engagement and daily routine being some kind of caretaker, I think this will help you have the energy to make this easier, okay? On the 21st, we've got a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn, and it is in a T-square to Neptune. So first things I want to tell you is that this particular moon, we still need to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment. We need to do that. It's still a full moon. We have to adjust, but there's no real clarity around it, right? You're like, hold on. I thought I was feeling really good. I had just gotten my rejuvenation, my respite, my relaxation together, and it's not quite sticking. Like, what the hell is going on, right? You've turned the living room into a home spa so that you can relax and have this nice daily routine, treat that depression, that anxiety, that whatever is going on in your health zone, but it's like not sticking. What's happening? Why isn't this working, right? Or you finally let yourself reduce your stress and then some kind of health issue presents itself that really, it's like, where did this come from, right? I want you to, first of all, not freak out. Do not freak out. Okay, the information you're getting doesn't have full clarity. It doesn't have full solution at this particular full moon. But what you're seeing is someplace you need to pivot. Now, you will get clarity because we're going to have another full moon happening July 21st at the later degrees of Capricorn, in the same sign at a later degrees. So when that happens, it is our signature that you have to do it twice. Right? This whatever you're going to work on, it's needed 2 times. So you get the information, and with not full clarity here on the 21st. But by the time we get to the 21st of July and this moon comes again, then things can start to stick. Okay, then anything that's presented itself from the 12th house, from a secret or an ailment, or maybe even something psychologically has come up for you and you're like, wow, I didn't realize I've been engaging this and it's been about my own undoing. Or maybe there's a painting or something creative or a song that's been welling up out of you and you can't quite get it out at this time. And then we get into July and here it comes, okay? No freaking out. On the 29th, as we close out the month, we've got Saturn going retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces, and it will stay retrograde all the way until November 15th. It will come direct at 12 degrees of Pisces. Now, first of all, this has been working in Pisces over here in your second house, okay? So this has been about your money, your resources, what you find abundance or prosperity to be. The Saturn retrograde is like you need to reassess values and resources. And oftentimes, Aquarius, what I find, especially as a person who has built businesses that are successful and helps other people to do that, we have so much abundance around us, but we lack the awareness to look at it and to say, wait, I actually could have the financial, the daily routine life that I want if I would acknowledge and become aware that I have this resource over here that could make my life easier and more prosperous, right? So this could be a time for you over this next 4 months where you are having a reassessment of your finances, of what you find valuable, of your resources. So I would encourage you to go back into your life, Aquarius, to March 23rd of 2024. What started to come up for you around money, around finances, around work, the way that you work, your skills, your prices that you're charging for the work that you do, other financial things, because this is going to definitely have your attention as we are traveling here through this Saturn retrograde. Now, you should be able to see some culmination of all of these things where it's really set in stone and settled by the time we get to February of 2025. But also keep in mind, you'll have a lot more clarity November 15th when Saturn does come out of its retrograde here in that Piscean energy, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, please let me know how the month is shaping up for you in the comment section down below. I love you. Enjoy the month. Take care of your mental and physical health, and I'll see you in July. Hello, my beautiful Pisces friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2024. We're Pisces this month. We're starting out the month. The first half really has to do with home, family, real estate, property, all of the things in the domestic and home area of life. And then as we get to the second half of the month and we bring in the solstice and we bring in this Cancerian energy, which is a fellow water energy, there's this idea of, like, first of all, expressing yourself, having the courage to express yourself, but also being playful, bringing some joy, having some ease, maybe even childlike energy. For some of you, it could be that you're bringing or making children at the end of the month, okay? So there's a lot, I think, to work with. And this month, because we've got such beautiful direct energies, I want you to be going for it. Take advantage of this. Saturn is currently traveling through your sign and will go retrograde in your sign. So your feet are kind of to the proverbial fire this month, Pisces, for you to demonstrate that you believe that you are allowed to have good, steady, wonderful, luscious things in your life, and that you are beautiful, steady, and luscious yourself, right? That you are worthy of having praise. You are worthy of having the good things and coming to that next level. So I think that that's a lot of the story that is on the table for you this month. Let's jump in. right at the beginning of the month on the 1st, but you'll probably feel the energy very much so through the 3rd, okay? We've got Jupiter coming into a trine with Pluto. Now, Jupiter being one of your ruling planets, first of all, it's moving through your 4th house, this Gemini space, and it's going to do its first full month in Gemini. So for the first time in 12 years, your home, family, real estate, property, your roots, your home sector is really lit up and ready to expand. But in this trine with Pluto, who's also retrograde and going through your 12th house space, this is an indicator that something that has been, it's like been your undoing for a while, Pisces, something you've believed it or you've been engaging with it. It's like you're starting to see, you're letting it die off. You're like, I don't need that anymore. I don't believe that anymore. And what a beautiful thing as it comes into this connection with Jupiter, because now you're ready to expand in this way. So what can this look like? Well, as we get to the 3rd, we've got Mercury moving into Gemini. The sun is already in Gemini. And on the 6th, we've got a new moon happening in Gemini at 16 degrees, conjunction with Venus, square to Saturn. The first thing I think about is that trine combined with the rest of this first half of the month. What you're bringing into your life is forgiveness from the past, where you're like, I'm ready to let my house, my home, my roots expand. And they're expanding in a way that is more about a freedom. There's a freedom here, and you get to claim it with your whole and entire heart. And it comes from a place that I think also has a lot more gratitude around it as well. So in a very practical way, with all of this Gemini energy floating through your 3rd house, something else I think of, floating through your 4th house, something else I think of is that your house is expanding, right? Like your home may be expanding. First of all, are you welcoming in maybe a person to your home? Are you pregnant? Are you adopting someone as a child or a parent moving in, right? So you could literally be expanding or having a change in your 4th house energy. But also, are you getting divorced? Is someone moving out? Is there a child going off to school? What is happening in this 4th house area that is bringing an absolute change to the home? I want to say this last thing, because whenever it comes to the 4th house, I tend to also get very practical into the structure of the home itself. So there could be structural things that you need to address in your home during the season. It's busy. So when I think of the busyness, I think of pipes. I don't know why, but it makes me think about pipes or air ducts, right? Where there are multi-systems running through that house. And maybe you have to deal with them, you know? You have to get the ducts cleaned out so that you're not blowing in weird things into your home, into the air, right? So it's Gemini. It's a very air energy. So it's possible that this could be another change that is happening in your home that needs your attention, but for the most part, it's pretty sweetly able to be done. But whatever it is, at that new moon, when you plant your seeds of intention, Saturn is still involved. So whatever you're taking on, you're going to have to kind of be in it for the long haul, right? Like there's some work to be done, but the investment pays off in the long term as well. So that could definitely be something coming to your table. Now, when we get to the 9th, we're going to see Mars blowing out of that vibration of Aries, moving into the vibration of Taurus, okay? So moving out of this Aries place where it's been a lot about your financial zone and financial things going on, and maybe you've been doing things with your money, you know, who knows? Did you even buy a property? Did you start an Airbnb business? Are you, you know, what are you doing around housing also that would change the way your income is coming to you, right? Maybe building some passive income streams. But as Mars moves now into Taurus, you're going to slow down and it's going to energize the intellectual zone. So it's like, okay, I do want to make this investment, but I need to learn how to do it, or I need to make the actual budget and stick to it, right? Because it's giving you the step-by-step, long-lasting, Tauran kind of energy at this particular time. Now, I wouldn't be surprised at all because this is the 3rd house all the way until July 20th while we've got this Mars and Taurus transit. If you're not learning something, you're picking up something maybe more academic, or you're learning something on how to have a long-term investment in your life, or maybe you're taking a marketing class. You know, you could be the one that's actually teaching it as well. You're signing contracts. We've talked a lot about the fourth house. Are you signing a new lease at this particular point? Whatever it is, you've got a lot of energy for steady state. You can trust what you're doing. You feel clear. You feel grounded in the decisions that you're making. You could also just be, it's Taurus, right? You could be barbecuing with your neighbors. Taurus is trying to have those snacks. Okay. When we get to the 17th, though, we change the vibe of the month. Now we're moving from this fourth house, domestic attention needs to be here. And really that's been rocking and rolling since May. But on the 17th, we have Venus move into Cancer. We have Mercury move into Cancer. On the 20th, we have the Sun move into Cancer. So now we're starting to move to the fifth house energy. So some of those domestic things have hopefully started to settle. And now it's like, okay, let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy, let's nurture our home. Let's have people over to our home. Let's have that barbecue. You know, let's have some fun, some pleasure, some play. Let's have a sleepover for the kids. It's summertime, right? Maybe there's romance. Maybe you got the house together. You know, the roof isn't leaking anymore. So now you can have your date over at your house. You know, there's a very playful and expressive energy that comes in, and it's joyful at the end of the month. So I hope that you make a connection with that energy and just kind of, you know, go with it. Enjoy it. Have pleasure. Take a risk. Go see that sporting game. You know, have sports night at your house. Make babies if that's what you're interested in doing. Start that business. Start that YouTube channel. Whatever it is, it's very well supported. Now, when we get to the 21st of the month, first of all, you know, flasher alert. I'm just going to tell you, don't freak out. I need to preface this with don't freak out. We've got a full moon happening at 1 degree of Capricorn. It is square Neptune, your other ruling planet. And this particular full moon is like all of them. It says we need to end something, we need to acknowledge something, or we need to make an adjustment, okay? But there's not a lot of clarity where it's like, I've been feeling like in my social zone, I'm kind of getting it together. I have friends, I have a tribe. I feel, you know, more connected to maybe somebody in my family who is helping me learn about my lineage. I really have felt like this is on. I have real friends, but something's not clear. Something's not sticking. The ambition, the goal you've had for yourself, this adventure you've wanted to go on, it's not sticking. I mean, you get what's going on here. It's okay. I don't want you to freak out. I want you to pivot where you can. I want you to evaluate your real hopes and dreams and ambitions you have for yourself and just say, okay, everything is happening on time, because we're going to have another full moon in Capricorn, July 21st, at later degrees of Capricorn. So when we get two moons back to back like this, it's telling us you got to do this more than once. You have to do this again. You're just getting started out at this full moon, but you don't have the full clarity. But you will have much more clarity and able to make the right transition, the right pivot, let the things go that need to go as we get to July 21st. So first and foremost, don't freak out. Pivot where you can, breathe. The change that you need to stick will be happening in July, okay? Now, to close out this month, we have got Saturn going retrograde in your sign at 19 degrees of Pisces. It's going to retrograde all the way back to 12 degrees of Pisces and come out of retrograde November 15th. So there's been a lot. You have been maturing. You have been like your life lessons, your karma lessons, getting it together, getting your life together, getting you together, realizing too that as a human being, you're limited. You have a shell, you have a body, you have time, you know, and what are you putting your time into? Because Pisces, you're paying for your life every day in time. Situations have maybe come into your life, especially between March 23rd and June 29th, that have matured you. They've been heavier situations, maybe something with finance, maybe something with relationships. And it's been like, wow, that'll really make you grow up, won't it? Right? Those kinds of things. But you've been handling it. Now, during the retrograde, you're reviewing. You really are getting to review who you are and who you've become, because you've changed. You really have changed. Something about you is more able. You're taking on responsibility. You are at a level of mastery that is the next level. But I think you get to watch yourself move through this review time and go, wow, I'm taking this on. I'm really doing this and I'm worthy of it. And I'm worthy people, praising me and applauding my name and me trusting myself and trusting my mastery and my expertise. And so I really think that this next 4.5 months are absolutely delicious for you in learning and understanding that. And by the time we see Saturn come out of its post-retrograde shadow time, which will be February 18th, 2025, you are seated in the position of expertise. And maybe it's not the expertise of your sharing your message on a global stage, but sometimes we go through things in our family that really shift the family dynamic and we step up and take on that responsibility. And on the other side, you're like, yeah, I absolutely know how to handle that now, right? Or I've absolutely taken that on. And even if you are coming through something where grief is on the table, it doesn't mean you grieve between now and February of 2025 and get it over with, but you learn to grieve. I heard this monk say, when you learn to struggle, you struggle better. When you learn to suffer, you suffer better, because these are part of the human condition. And I really think you get some advancement around this and it changes who you are. All right, my beautiful Pisces friends, I love you. Bring some of that joy in. You are worth it, okay? I love you, and I will see you in July.